Ground-type Pokémon trainer. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. Heading to Zhenghua Lighthouse. Axiang Mori touched the shining Karakura in front of his eyes and said with great interest, "When the time comes, I will definitely participate in this magnificent contest." Itaguro said a little helplessly, "It may be okay for you to let others participate in the magnificent contest, but ask you to participate, except Pippi, right?" Liu Xin's heart trembled. This guy said it directly, at least tactfully. When Axiang heard this, he said angrily, "Humph, you actually look down on me. Liu Xin, come and help me judge the situation and see if I still have a chance." Liu Xin said that he didn't want to participate in this fight and had nothing to do with him. Xiaoxia looked at him and raised the corners of her mouth slightly, feeling that it was really nostalgic and familiar. However, at this moment a loud noise was heard. Screams came from the door of the gymnasium, and Yingzi and the others ran in and said, "Xiaoxia, have people from Team Rocket appeared?" In fact, he came to the gym to cause trouble. Could it be Daichi and Karakura Masami? That's right, they're the only rockets in this area. Who are we, you ask? To prevent this world from being destroyed, to protect world peace, to implement love and true evil, the cute and lovely Verlaine, Daichi, Masami. We are the rockets who travel through the galaxy. The white hole, the white tomorrow awaits us. They drove a small robot with more than 2 tentacles, as if there were infinite tentacles, spreading everywhere. Make a fortune. There are many powerful water-type Pokémon here, including small sea lions, gem starfish, and giant crabs. It's useless because it's too big. Our robot is equipped with a waterproof function. Any water-type abilities have no effect on us. We are prepared to target the Pokémon in South China City. After all, this area is full of water-type Pokémon, so they're obviously not stupid people. Gem starfish, it's decided that I'm you. Xiaoxia released her dual starfish and directly used the high-pressure water gun. The super powerful water gun penetrates the gym and is still powerful even at a distance of 100 meters. However, the impact on the robot only made it tremble and had no effect. As I said, water-type skills have no effect on us. It's really a waste of effort. Xiaoxia lightly shook her head and said calmly, "You actually dare to come to my gym to cause trouble? Do you really think I do? Don't you have any Pokémon to deal with it?" Liu Xin stepped forward and said, "Leave this matter to us. It just so happens that the last Pokémon in my pocket was restless. Come out and play, giant rock snake." A huge rock snake that was more than 10 meters long. As soon as the big rock snake appeared, it gave people a great sense of oppression. All the surrounding beings were attracted, and Team Rocket who were far away at the door also widened their eyes. What a big rock snake. This is a good guy. You must catch it. You can't let it go no matter what. Liu Xin smiled lightly and said, "If you can, come and try it." The tail flicked, and water splashed everywhere, with multiple gravels suspended around it. The ground around the robot begins to crack, and earthquakes occur. The entire body of the robot could not move, and the 2 people inside were affected. So a terrorist attack. It really is a huge rock snake. It is not simple. Liu Xin did not expect that this guy would go to the South China Cave for a day of special training and improve his skill control a lot, and his future was very bright. Run and collide with it head on. Not giving up at all, the giant rock snake quickly rushed towards the robot with its physical advantage. Don't come over, it feels like the entire place is shaking. Launch an attack and hit it with your tentacles. All the attacks were deflected, which completely triggered the giant rock snake's enlargement characteristic. When receiving physical attacks, the speed will continue to increase. The huge rock snake, which was originally moving very slowly, is now moving faster and faster, and arrives in front of the robot in an instant. Mountain slide. Countless gravels attacked simultaneously along with the waves. The robot is only resistant to water attacks, but it is completely helpless against the giant rock snake. Boom. A huge explosion sounded, and the robot in front of him completely exploded. The sound was astonishing, and two figures were shocked. What a disgusting feeling. A standard classic line. Big rock snake. This guy was very proud and provocative, with a look of disdain in his eyes. Still not satisfied, still thinking about continuing to fight. He's really a fighting maniac. In fact, all the Pokémon on Liu Xin's side are fighting maniacs. Xiaoxia and the three Huanan sisters leaned over and looked at this huge rock snake. Is this big rock snake bigger than Xiao Gang's big rock snake? No, it should be said that it's much more terrifying than the big rock snake I've seen, purely in terms of size. Really a powerful trainer with all kinds of Pokémon. Although Team Rocket's Misty can solve it, it will definitely cost a lot after all. They are mainly water-type Pokémon. So this time, so close and surrounded by everything, Liu Xin was completely at the peak of his life, surrounded by 4 super beautiful girls, all breathing into his ears. Who can stand this? Liu Xin blushed. As for what the 4 girls said, he didn't care much. Itaguro said enviously, I really want to be surrounded and chat like this. Compared to Liu Xin, what's the difference between Liu Xin and me? In terms of looks, I'm not bad at all, and besides, he's very well spoken. Moriyasu Xiang shouted, Liu Xin is so close to a girl besides me. This is not right. The city in South China is really a dangerous place. We have to take him to the next place. Liu Xin, this magnificent contest will be held next month, and we have to leave early. Goodbye, sisters. Liu Xin, who was obsessed with beauty, was dragged away without giving it a chance. Sakurako sighed, I wanted to invite you to my house, but Sister Komori is not happy. If you have a chance to come back in the future, be careful on the way. Itaguro walked over and said, this has been to the end. You know why she is unhappy? I'll tell you a philosophy of life. A woman's heart is as deep as a needle. Don't go into why girls are unhappy, because I don't know. After walking for almost half an hour, an angry Moriyaxiang turned around and said, where are we going? Where are we going? Question mark? Liu Xin and Itaguro almost fainted on the spot. How dare you lead the way here without knowing anything? But seeing the reason for his anger, Liu Xin patiently took out the map and said, now let's go to Dryleaf City, and the Pokémon contest you are participating in is also being held there. There is also an ancient ruin there, the Zhenghu Lighthouse. Let's take a look. Hearing that there were ancient ruins to see, Moriyaxiang immediately said happily, okay, I can see something I haven't seen before. Just think about it and be happy. Chapter 27 Leveling Up and Evolution. A beacon of brilliance. Ever since the giant dragon destroyed this lighthouse last time, the heat here has become even more intense. More and more people come here to visit and appreciate it, and as for the iconic lighthouse, it has been repaired. Although it's not as good as before, it's not bad either. Wow, there are so many people. What are they doing here? Moriyaxiang was like a curious baby, bumping into each other everywhere. It was Itaguro's turn to explain. It said that, because the giant dragon couldn't withstand the destruction of the lighthouse, it would come here from time to time, and leave behind some good things. It's different every time, but it's definitely a precious item that powerful trainers can snatch away. Is there such a good thing? No wonder there are so many trainers here. They probably all come here for the treasures left behind by the giant dragon. Moriyaxiang was more energetic than the both of them. What kind of treasure is it? What kind of treasure is it? How about we stay, grab it, and see? I'm really curious. You can't do anything, just join in the fun. You're number 1. How long does it take for the giant dragon to get here? Itohei touched his chin and said, I'll ask someone. Anyway, this place is developing, and there are many interesting things. We can stay here for a while, and take a look. There's no hurry to go to Dryleaf City. Liu Xin looked at the huge Zhenghu lighthouse and finally nodded. And the system in his mind began to issue tasks. Ding. The host triggered the task to steal a treasure left by the giant dragon. If the mission is successful, you will receive the blessing of the giant dragon and a reward of 50 points. What is the blessing of the giant and swift dragon? Liu Xin couldn't think about it for a while, but he was sure of one thing. He couldn't leave before waiting for the huge dragon to leave a reward. Directly playing into Moriangxiang's hands. Liu Xin took a deep breath and let go. Then let's have fun here and wait for the giant dragon to appear. Moriangxiang said happily. Okay, there seems to be a museum there. Let's go in and take a look. These souvenirs are so cute. Should we buy one each? The two of them went to play and look around. When Liu Xin was exhausted, Morianka was still full of energy. If Itaguro hadn't come to the rescue, Liu Xin would have collapsed. I asked a lot of people and they all said that the giant Velociraptor will appear in a week. Even if it's not a week, it's still within this time period. Anyway, we are lucky and we've caught up. The error is not big. Morian Xiang rolled up his sleeves and said, if you have a week, we will conduct special training for demons. Train your Pokémon to make them strong enough to face the fierce battle in a week. So enlightened. Liu Xin and Itaguro were dumbfounded. Is this still Mori Yasuka? They actually took the initiative to propose special training. Of course, these two grown men really had this idea. There is a white cloak nearby. Watching the sea crash against the rocks, Liu Xin and the others became even more warlike. Itaguro said excitedly, there must be a lot of powerful Pokémon here, and we must train them well. And it's time to expand the number of Pokémon I have. Liu Xin directly released the super round land shark, and saw dependent on the opponent's level, only 2 levels away from evolving into a fang shark. The super round land shark directly roared, as if it was entering a battle. Fight all comers. Being warlike really helps me a lot at times like this. Let's see who our first opponent is. There's a lobster soldier over there, level 20. Go fight round land shark. With a roar, he quickly attacked the lobster soldier who was leisurely basking in the sun. The upper body of the lobster soldier is mostly orange, the belly is white, and there are 3 pointed protrusions on the head. That pair of large pliers is the main source of combat power. His eyes that were originally squinted suddenly opened, his pincers fell down, and directly hit the super round land shark. The two were tied in the first round, and his reaction awareness was quite good. The physical attack is very strong, and Liu Xin feels that it is necessary to attack from a distance. But the super round land shark was out of control, and directly faced the hard steel. He did not weigh himself at all. If he had not relied on his own purple aurora, he would have been knocked down long ago. Lobster soldier. The other party was very disdainful, and found that this super round land shark was nothing more than that. Can this be tolerated? Super round land shark's violent temper surged out, and he roared at Liu Xin. Liu Xin sighed helplessly. What does it have to do with me? If people look down on you, don't yell at me. But who told you to use skills in close combat with others? Quicksand hell. The lobster soldier suddenly felt that something was wrong in the atmosphere, and the sand around the beach began to gather, entangled bit by bit, and headed towards the lobster soldier. Bubble light. Countless bubbles began to pour out from the mouth, hitting the surrounding sand. Liu Xin shouted, use heavy punches, and then quickly charge and attack. After launching 2 consecutive attacks, the opponent was still concentrating on dealing with quicksand hell. The heavy stomping directly smashed the ground on the lobster soldier's side, and suddenly countless earth thorns shot out. 2 hits. The lobster soldier quickly responded, and his 2 large pincers turned silver, with a metallic feel. He struck directly and quickly, causing huge damage. Boom, boom, boom. All the attacks in front of him were shattered, and it seemed that they could not cause any real damage to the lobster soldiers. However, he was unable to deal with the super round land shark's headbutt attack. A simple impact hit his body hard, and the powerful impact sent him flying for more than a meter before stopping. But it's far from over. The super round land shark stood still, and took a deep breath, blending the surrounding atmosphere with the power of his body. The dragon roared, and a terrifying power was gathering. Dragon breath. Super round land shark's strongest skill connected, leaving the lobster soldier no time to react. I can only use it to harden him, but it has no effect. In just 1 minute, the lobster soldier was cleanly defeated. Ding. Super round land shark uses dragon breath to attack the lobster minions, and the effect is remarkable. Ding, Super Round Land Shark defeated the Lobster Soldier. The level was upgraded, and the points were plus 20. Coupled with the experience accumulated in previous battles, it is no wonder that Super Round Land Shark has been upgraded to 19. As for level 19 to 20, this is a huge milestone, and the amount of experience is terrifying. Liu Xin took a deep breath and said, "Then the life of the Liver Emperor begins. You must be upgraded before tomorrow." Lobster soldiers and sunbathing. All the Pokémon were bathed in blood by the Ultra Shark. It was extremely terrifying. Of course, the rewards are also huge. Under the setting sun, the entire body of the Super Round Land Shark was shining with a golden light, and its level had reached level 20. Start evolving. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Super Fangtooth Land Shark. The fanged land shark has begun to evolve. Its whole body is shrouded in yellow light, and it looks very beautiful. Absorbing the surrounding breath, slowly entering the body, the wind and waves swept through it, making Liu Xin unable to help but take a few steps back. The fanged land shark's purple light is constantly emitted, attracting many people to come and watch. What a beautiful evolution. It's purple and yellow. It's more powerful than ordinary Pokémon. It's not simple. It's very powerful at first glance. Let's give it a good fight after it fully evolves. They are watching. Oh, it turns out that it's Liu Xin. It's the oriental shark that is evolving. It's really loud. It's true that the Ultra Series Pokémon are so handsome and attractive. He looked at the round land shark in front of them, and it began to slowly take shape. Compared to the previous round land shark, it is a bit larger in size, not to mention its height. It looks very beautiful from a distance, and the light above begins to slowly dissipate. Liu Xin smiled slightly and said, "Success, let me see the new Pokémon." This was the first time he had completed the evolution, and it was a new experience for Liu Xin. The light completely dissipated, and a beautiful land shark with fangs appeared in everyone's eyes. The background color of the whole body is dark blue, from the chin to the middle of the abdomen is red, and the lower abdomen is blue-gray. It has 2 bulges on its head, each with a blue-gray stripe. There are 4 fins on the body, 1 on each forearm, 1 on the back, and 1 on the tail. The claws have a single white toe, the feet have 3 toes, and there are spurs on the back. White bone on the thighs. Compared to the cute and round land shark, it is much more domineering and handsome. Now it is provoking and declaring battle, and it will not be considered a joke. It's just that its personality and expression have not changed much from before. It is arrogant and proud. Fangtoothed land shark. Just after evolving, it shouted at all the Pokémon and trainers present with a stern look in its eyes. Look carefully, there is a lot of purple glow on the body. It seems that the power left by Cheomeng is more obvious, and all the values have been improved. Can evolve at level 40. Qing Lai bites land shark. Attack. 300 special attack. 245 defense. Super Fangtooth land shark 70 special defense. Super Fangtooth land shark 70 speed. Super Fangtooth land shark 40 features. Hidden sand. Dodge in sandstorm weather. The rate is increased, and it will not be affected by the physical loss caused by sandstorms. Rough skin. When the opponent makes a close contact attack, it will suffer 30% of the damage from the round land shark. Super feature. Purple aurora. A layer of purple light is attached to the surface. This light can absorb a large amount of damage and enhance its own characteristics and skill damage. Skills: Quicksand Hell, Dragon's Breath, Heavy Stomp, Sand Sweep, Impact, Split, Dragon Claw. Not only is the numerical value improved, but also many skills can be learned. The evolved sharp-toothed land shark is much stronger than the round land shark. Liu Xin wanted to come over and congratulate the sharp-toothed land shark, but he forgot about the sharp-toothed land shark's violent personality. He was brutally beaten up and completely lacked the majesty of a trainer. "I'll go. Why don't you save me some face in front of so many people? I really admire you." He snorted in disdain, which was actually not much different from before. A little fat man walked out of the crowd and gasped, "What a domineering fanged land shark. I was completely attracted by your evolution just now." "My name is Ryunosuke Jitani. You can call me Fan. I've been searching. I'm searching for and challenging powerful Pokémon all the time, and your sharp-toothed shark attracted me, so I hope you can have a Pokémon park with me." Fan looked at sharp-toothed shark and Liu with great anticipation. "Mew, I hope we can battle." Liu Xin thought that he had just evolved, so he could agree to go down and compete. Before he could speak, the Fang shark jumped up and shouted at the Fan arrogantly, "I participated in this contest myself. There really would be no joy without fighting." Liu Xin covered his forehead and said, "As you express, I agree to the duel with you. Let's go to battle." Moriang made notes on the side. The more ferocious, the more violent, the more disobedient the Pokémon is, the more powerful it is. This should be written down in the notebook, and little Sawtooth will show it to you. Itohei patted his head and said, "You don't have to remember this, right? The main reason is that this guy Liu Xin is a bit of an exception. All Pokémon have the same virtue." Fan threw out the Pokéball and also sent out the Dragon-type Pokémon, Axeodon. Compared to his evolved body, Axeodon has a much larger body. Its upper and lower bodies have obvious color distinctions. Its arms and tail are much longer. Its head looks like it is wearing a helmet on its abdomen. Its biggest feature is that it has two incisors that grow horizontally and are longer than its teeth. It is about the same size as a land shark with fangs, both of which are very handsome and big. Axetooth, level 22 attack, 290 special attack, 260. This is another Pokémon that uses skills, and its special attack is very strong. Very handsome. Dragon-type Pokémon are really good. Liu Xin was a little envious. It would be great to be able to cultivate Dragon-type Pokémon by himself. Whether they are strong or not is a matter of time. But handsome, it's all life. Axeodon. As soon as it appears, it is violent and provocative, almost as virtuous as a sharp-toothed land shark. The originally lazy and casual super sharp-toothed land shark became serious and roared in response to the axe-toothed dragon. The two of them didn't listen to the trainer's words at all and just went up to fight hand to hand, beating the meat. Fan covered his forehead and said timidly, "I'm really sorry. My axe-toothed dragon has a very strong personality and really doesn't listen to me." For Liu Xin, these words are simply the most resonant. "My soulmate. I didn't expect to be able to meet my soulmate here. I know very well what it feels like when a Pokémon is disobedient. This is the case with the Pokémon Super Fang Shark in front of me. Are fighting and training." Jai showed his fondness for meeting a close friend. "I have a bad feeling. I always feel that this little fatty is my opponent." "That's not true. Cease, are you even jealous of the boys now?" Itaguro said to Moriang helplessly, staring intently in front of him. Dragon fight. They fought fiercely, and the wind and waves swept between them. But after a duel, Axetooth suffered greatly. After all, the super fanged land shark has two characteristics, rough skin and purple aurora. Compared to close combat, it is not afraid of anyone, and even likes close combat very much. Axeodon gradually felt that something was wrong. The other party was fine, but suffered a lot of injuries in retaliation. It retreated towards Fan, roared angrily, and began to give orders to its trainer. Liu Xin sighed and said, "I'm just a tool. Brother, I understand this feeling, because I'm here too." Naturally, the super fanged land shark would not sit still and wait for death. It returned and ordered Liu Xin to do the same. Chapter 29, First Victory, Mutation. Liu Xin said bitterly, "The tool man is here. Don't act rashly now. After all, we have the advantage, and don't need to be so proactive." The super sharp-toothed land shark just stood still. And it was so obedient that Liu Xin was shocked. I thought that the other party would not listen and rushed to start a fight. Fanzi was different. He shouted, "Axetooth dragon, use provoke. Then use sawtooth strike." They use the provocation skill all the time, but of course it has no effect. The Axetooth dragon's entire body was glowing with a faint green light, and its fangs and eyes on both sides were shining with brilliance. Axeodon. With a sound, it was directly provoked, and the brilliance on its body became stronger and more dazzling. The super-fanged land shark was provoked uncontrollably, unable to stand at all, and walked towards the Axatoothed dragon step by step. Ding, in the provocation stage, attack skills cannot be used, and the opponent cannot use skills either. This is a seduction skill. Liu Xin watched them vigilantly, trying to be alert to the other party's attacks and immediately defend or counterattack. Fancy took the initiative at this moment, when the provocation successfully fell on super-fanged land shark. The timing was very good. The Axiodon, which was originally provoking the super-fang land shark, instantly showed its fangs, and turned into sawteeth, directly increasing its lethality. Understand? Bite. Liu Xin gave the order at the same time, and the super-fang shark's combat power rose to a new level at this moment, and it directly followed the opponent to attack. Boom. The wind and waves swept in all directions, and the attack power of the two was evenly matched, and the super screaming land shark had a blessing of special characteristics, causing the axe-toothed dragon to suffer damage again. It was really a rogue style of play, which gave Axatooth and Fan a headache. No matter how you fight, the opponent will always have the upper hand. Dragon Claw. The claws of the fanged land shark were instantly covered with a layer of light blue, became slightly longer, and were extremely sharp. The speed accelerated at this moment. There were only a few fists between them, and they shot out in an instant. Dragon Claw. The opponent also used Dragon Claws, and the two claws were brought together at the same time, intertwining and colliding during the process. The collision was back and forth, and there was also a harsh friction sound that made people's scalp numb. Purple Aurora. There was back and forth between the two sides, but the moment the super feature was used, the battle situation changed. The originally light blue claws began to be covered with light lavender, and the combat power increased again. The effect of lavender was not simple. Strengthening its skills, the super sharp-toothed land shark's dragon claws instantly suppressed the axe-toothed dragon in front of it. The axe-toothed dragon looked embarrassed, and began to struggle hard. As the two fought, the purple aurora shone brightly, and the power of the blessing skills was not just 1 or 2 points. The axe-toothed dragon was instantly knocked down, leaving a wound. Axe-tooth. The wounded raw was a little weak. After all, the super fang shark with the purple aurora activated was very strong. Super screaming land shark roared proudly, and the dragon claw in his hand slowly dissipated. Axe-toothed dragon used dragon breath to resolve the battle. Super screaming land shark also used dragon breath and face it head on. In the final decisive battle, both sides began to use their ultimate skills. Dragon breath. The two of them took a deep breath. Their dragon auras and roars converged at this moment, and their fighting power instantly soared. Their respective inhalation and condensation movements are different, but their power cannot be underestimated. The purple light began to envelop the energy ball, causing the energy ball that was originally about the same size to become slightly larger. Within a few breaths, it surpassed the axe-toothed dragon's breath. The power provided by the super screaming land shark increases, and the breath expands even more. Both of them have reached their limit, and the dragon breath on them affects the surrounding waves, causing them to beat more violently. All the spectators around them involuntarily took a few steps back, their eyes shining with anticipation. Who will win in the comparison between the two? The dragon breath released by the evolved super screaming land shark is different from before, and the same goes for the axe-toothed dragon in front of him. The two dragon breaths were instantly released, and the small ball turned into a giant little dragon, showing its teeth and claws to attack the opponent. The lethality and aggressiveness are extremely terrifying. With the blessing of the purple aurora, the dragon breath of the super fang land shark is larger than that of the axe-toothed dragon, not to mention the power that can suppress it. It is adorned with light blue light and a little purple light, and the damage is not weak at all. Fan's face was tense and he shouted, "Come on. You can definitely beat the opponent." But the disparity was too great, and the super properties of the super Pokémon were too disgusting. Without even an impact, the blue-purple dragon mercilessly swallowed the axe-toothed dragon's breath. There was no ripple at all, the damage was completely overflowing, and the momentum was overwhelming. Get tough. The axe-toothed dragon's final struggle lasted no more than 3 seconds. He was knocked back several meters away, and fell to the ground unconscious. Fang-toothed land shark. This kid was proud of himself. The most important thing is that this kid didn't consume much. It's obvious that he hasn't fully enjoyed this game yet. Liu Xin has finally seen how powerful the Super Fang land shark is, and even his stamina has improved a lot after evolving. Before, he was very weak after using Dragon Breath even once, but now it's completely different. After using Dragon Breath, I'm still alive and energetic. Fan took back his axe-toothed dragon and said with conviction, "It's indeed the super sharp-toothed land shark. It's very powerful. I'm convinced that I lost this battle. Are you convinced, even if it's the axe-toothed dragon? Can he withstand this attack? What about the interest rates? It doesn't look like it's about to fall, so there's no problem if he shoots out the dragon breath again." Liu Xin was not like Cheo Fang Lusher. He was very humble and scattered after exchanging a few pleasantries. The people around him regard Liu Xin as a competitor. When the time comes to compete for the giant dragon treasure, he will be one of the powerful opponents. Anxiang Mori immediately came to bless him and touched Super Screaming Land Shark. This guy actually didn't resist and rebelled. In fact, it's just focusing on color and looking down on the main character. Itaguro also wants to touch Super Fang Land Shark. After all, he is so handsome. Who can refuse? But before he gets close, he is lashed by the dragon's claws, which is extremely miserable. Liu Xin took the Super Fang Land Shark to practice for 2 more days before putting it away. Super Fang Shark's level reaches level 22. In order to prevent other Pokémon from leaving the main force, the Pokémon that needs to be improved and strengthened the most, Giant Rock Snake, is released. As soon as the huge rock snake comes out, no matter how strong it is, its combat power is very scary. Before Liu Xin could speak, the huge rock snake began to move very fiercely. This Liu Xin is really scary. There is such a terrifying big rock snake. There is nothing to say about its size. When the time comes, the huge big rock snake will take the lead. It can completely crush many Pokémon and obtain treasures with its size advantage. Although the huge big rock snake is very powerful, it is actually no match for these Pokémon. The attributes still have a certain effect. Of course, this also cultivates the giant rock snake's endurance. The other two were not idle, and Itaguro began to capture his 4th Pokémon. As for Morianka, she was flirting with her Pokémon and making friends with Pokémon on the beach. If she wanted, she could catch many Pokémon. Boom. On the 5th day, when they were quietly developing and practicing, a huge tremor occurred in the mountains in the distance. A giant dragon appeared. However, when they got closer and saw the visitor, they seemed surprised. It was not a giant dragon. Chapter 30, The Treasure Thief Group and the Power of the Giant Rock Snake. The sound at this moment attracts everyone, and their expressions are different. Some people waved their hands and said, "Here we go again. We come from time to time. It's really troublesome." Stop talking about it. The lighthouse keeper will naturally take care of this matter. What are we worrying about? Liu, these noobs have no idea what's going on. He glanced at Itohei next to him. He shook his head and said, "Don't look at me. I only know about the lighthouse and the giant dragon. As for the rest, I don't know anything about it. But I can ask, so go and take a look first. Sit on your giant rock snake and lift it up to see the situation of the lighthouse." The giant rock snake is too big, but you can still clearly see the changes in the situation of the lighthouse under the beach. A group of yellow-clothed Pokémon trainers attack the lighthouse, while the lighthouse keeper resists the attack. The battle between the two parties was astonishing. The fire-breathing dragon could cover an area with a single fireball and the heat was terrifyingly high. This is the final form of high-level Pokémon battle. However, the opponents are of different levels. There are strong and weak. Liu Xin took a closer look and saw that there were many guys with similar strength to him. I'm getting a little bored after fighting Pokémon all the time. Let's change my taste by fighting with people. However, they didn't act rashly. After all, they didn't understand the situation clearly. Until 5 minutes later, Itaguro came back. I understand clearly. These guys are no good, and they are even worse than Team Rocket. They are an organization called the Treasure Thieves Group, which specializes in stealing treasures and the giant dragon's treasures. And the method they are fighting is very extreme, that is, to occupy the lighthouse and collect all the treasures, Itohei said breathlessly, leaving Liu Xin to think. A gang that specializes in stealing treasures? Then why do you say they are bad? Moriang pointed his finger and said in surprise, look, there are many Pokémon imprisoned in their team. Target, it seems that this is the case. There is a cage in the team containing many wild Pokémon. Their bodies are covered with wounds and they look very miserable. What is going on? Itohiro gritted his teeth and said, this is what is hateful about them. Look at the robot in front. Is there a pipe connecting this cage? This robot is very large, and its two fists turn into meteor hammers, which turn into meteor hammers. They are all up and down. The strongest metal, seemingly indestructible. Of course, its combat power should not be underestimated. With just one hit, a level 60 fire-breathing dragon would have to take a detour. This Pokémon's combat power is close to level 70, so it is very powerful. The power source of this robot is a Pokémon's pain. You see, there are attacks and abuses in the cage all the time, and Pokémon are constantly getting injured. And the negative energy released by these injured Pokémon is what this robot does. Power source. Liu Xin clenched his fists, coldly looked at the group of treasure thieves, and calmly said, what a cruel approach this is. Moriang stepped forward and nodded. Liu Xin, will you come? If you come, I'll come. I can't stand it anymore. The same goes for Itohei, and many trainers around him can't stand it anymore and just act. Of course, the strong group of guys in front is left to the lighthouse keepers. As for the trainers, they are looking for opponents that suit them, as long as they can handle them. After all, there are quite a few people in their treasure stealing group. Liu Xin didn't let Moriang act. He was still too weak to fight well, so he just followed behind. Kid, stay out of the way, otherwise don't blame my Duodo Ice for freezing you. Liu Xin looked at the Pokémon in front of him, that actually looked like an ice cream. Its head was covered with a lot of snow, and there were pimples on both sides of its cheeks. A piece of ice has an inverted semicircular mouth. The lower body is blue, with two small icicles beside it, and the bottom is blue. Below is the handle of the ice cream. There is some cold air around Duodubing. This is my first time meeting an ice-type Pokémon, but will I be afraid of my own giant rock snake? After a day and a half of special training, the giant rock snake has reached level 17, and is no less powerful against the level 20 Duodubing. Level 20 attack. 180 special attack. 200. These two values are no match for his huge rock snake, so sometimes level does not mean everything. But the other party obviously didn't understand this, and said complacently, in that case, don't blame me for being rude. Duobing uses Blizzard with a big move. Snowflakes scattered in all directions. The cold air around Duodubing turned into a strong cold wind, condensed with terrifying wind and snow, and formed a super tornado that killed the huge rock snake. Moriang shuddered and said tremblingly, isn't it too cold? Can the huge rock snake be stopped? Liu Xin said confidently, the huge rock snake, you have been asked, what should you do? The whole body exudes a metallic luster, and seems indestructible and very strong. In this case, the double defense of the giant rock snake is upgraded to a higher level. The terrifying blizzard was about the same size as a giant rock snake, with disdain in his eyes. The cold wind and snowflakes in the blizzard struck the skin of the huge rock snake, which was like a scrape, was too weak. In just 3 seconds, a huge tail extended in all directions, clearing away the snowstorm and hitting Duodubing hard. Boom. A terrifying sound rang out, and the ground cracked with tail marks. Duodubing was instantly crushed and killed, and was no match at all. Damn it, look at the next one. Will Liu Xin give the other party a chance to continue producing Pokémon? It was impossible to let the huge rock snake pass by and knock the trainer unconscious. Xiaoxiang, tie that guy up, and let Pippi come out to help. Huge rock snake, let's find the next target. The huge rock snake, which had won its first victory, became belligerent and killed everyone. Of course, Liu Xin, who was wandering around the middle area and showing his advantage, was quickly attacked. It's this big rock snake, it's a big thief. If it can be trapped in the supply cage, Couldn't it provide a large amount of kinetic energy to the robot? Con, let's bring a few more guys over and deal with the siege. The big tree attracts the wind, and the huge rock snake attracts people, not only because of its strength, but also because of its size. Not to mention the huge rock snake passing by now, directly surrounded by people in the middle stage of the stolen treasure group. There were 5 people in the first group, and their strength should not be underestimated. However, the giant rock snake was not afraid. Liu Xin sneered, "Are you going to fight in a group? Don't think that I'm just a Pokemon. Let the others go out and play." Chapter 31 Cooperating for the first time and accepting the task. Do you want to play in a group battle? Don't think that the giant rock snake in my Pokémon is a perverted existence. It seems that I have 3 more such perverts. All. Kara, Little Elephant, Fangtooth Land Shark. The 4 Pokémon were together, and their aura and feelings were different from ordinary Pokémon. These are now Liu Xin's 4 strange Pokémon. Sure enough, it was easy to control them one by one, but when 4 of them got together, the scene became very chaotic. Flash Karakara slammed the Bone Club, and without saying a word, he attacked the Sand Hippo, which was also a ground type. Before Liu Xin had time to command Flash Karakara, the Super Fang Shark next to him attacked the Dragon-type Pokémon, Baby Dragon, in one stride. As for the mutated little elephant and the giant rock snake, let alone face their opponents. The scene is now 4 versus 5, and there is one more enemy Pokémon present. Commanding 4 Pokémon at the same time, Liu Xin must be very arrogant. Don't worry, leave the last bad guy to me. Just let my blue crocodile practice its skills. Blue crocodile, level 21 attack, 220 special attack, 180 as the evolved form of the small sawtooth crocodile. The blue crocodile has a few more. A little more majestic, a little less cute. The beige pattern on the belly is shaped like an eggshell, and the jaws, also beige, have an astonishing bite force. Red bone plates are distributed on the head, back, and tail. Unexpectedly, during this period of time, Moriang trained his own Pokémon. His opponent was a gangster crocodile. It was a fight between 2 crocodiles, and their strength was evenly matched. Boom. The noise continued. Liu Xin looked at the retreating Pokémon in front of him and roared, "Shut up, 1 or 2. If you want to lose, keep fighting like this, otherwise, listen to me." Finally, he won the initiative. The 4 Pokémon retreated at the same time, becoming more obedient. This is the effect Liu Xin wants, and with 4 Pokémon working together, he has wanted to try it for a long time. Flash Karakara cooperates with Super Fanged Land Shark to perform rapid attacks and harass the enemies in front of them. The mutated little elephant continues to attack, using flame jets and fireballs. As long as it can hit the opponent, it will. It also adds armor-piercing power. Just use fire. The giant rock snake uses rock collapse to damage and assist. Move now. After hearing this, the 4 Pokémon began to have a direction and officially began to attack. I have to say that Flash Karakara cooperates very well with Super Fang Shark. The 2 have roughly the same speed and connect their attacks from the front and back. Earth Thorn, Boomerang, Dragon Claw, Quicksand Hell. Once these 2 guys work together, it will be difficult for the opponent to act. The combination of physical attack and special attack is super strong. Damn it, move quickly. I'm going. The giant rock snake and the little elephant are going to attack. Get out of the way. The trainer started to tell his Pokémon to dodge, but can it dodge? The combination of Hell's Quicksand and Earth Spikes, coupled with the limitations of the Boomerang, made it impossible to move. Then comes the time to harvest. Mountain Slide. Countless stones began to pile up, and any one of them was as big as a person. Mixed with a terrifying impact, it mercilessly kills the restrained opponent. The mutated little elephant shoots out fireballs and flames in succession, which is similar to a rifle, and is very scary. Boom, boom, boom. The flames burned wildly, and gravel shook the ground. When they calmed down, the 4 opponents and their trainers were unconscious, achieving a perfect victory. Liu Xin took a deep breath and smiled. Wouldn't it be great if the 4 of you worked together? If you are more obedient, how can you lose? The fight between the gangster crocodile and the blue crocodile was tough. When they were trying to figure it out, 4 Pokémon came over. The crocodile's opponent even trembled and said, "If you have the ability to fight one-on-one, don't beat me up in a group." Yes you do. The 5 members of the treasure thief group were caught in this way, and the mid-level forces were once again missing a part. So powerful. This is the evaluation of Liu Xin by those around him, whether they are teammates or opponents. Itaguro also had a good record, tying down 2 people. I always feel that their strength is weaker than ordinary trainers. As long as they have a little fighting skills, they can basically win. Liu Xin's side, their Pokémon are just powerful, but they lack combat experience. Once they fought, I discovered the shortcomings and problems. Hey, don't mess around. Liu Xin just chatted for a while, and his Pokémon began to fight in all directions again. Itaguro covered his mouth and stifled his laughter. Go chase after your Pokémon. Both of them are types that can't stay still. Okay, after this time, I must make them all obedient. The low level area and the high level area are 2 areas with little fluctuation. The low level area is full of noobs pecking at each other, while the high level area is a prolonged battle with huge damage. So the key lies in the middle area, which is the area where you can experience the strength of both sides. But Liu Xin was too terrifying. 4 Pokémon spread out in all directions, and nearly a third of the trainers were killed by him. The guy he tied up was as thick as several large trees, and looked quite spectacular. Slowly, the people in the treasure stealing group began to notice Liu Xin. The upper management finally took action, and sent the level 60 elite Bulbasaur to deal with Liu Xin. Liu Xin immediately realized that putting away his Pokémon meant running away. Fuck you, you'll die instantly in a direct confrontation. Run, run. 36 strategies. Running is the best strategy. The Bulbasaur trainer was dumbfounded after all. He had a direct confrontation, but why? He just ran away. Where's the way? Don't even think about leaving. Bulbasaur used the vines to catch that kid. Thick vines grew out from the sprout area behind him, and there were more than 1, 7, or 8 vines grabbing Liu Xin. About to be caught. Charizard. Jet flames fell down, burning the approaching vines. A lighthouse keeper ordered the fire-breathing dragon to fight Bulbasaur. He looked embarrassed and said, "Although I don't know your name, can you do us a favor? The pressure on our front line against the robots is too great. Dare to love, you want me to deal with a robot? That is a being that is more powerful than an ordinary level 60 elite Pokémon. It is absolutely impossible." The lighthouse keeper patted him on the shoulder and said bitterly, "I'm not asking you to deal with the robots. I just hope that you can destroy the cage. Because you are the most powerful among many trainers, so I hope you can help. As long as the monster lacks supplies, we have a chance to win." Before Liu Xin could reply, the system message appeared. Ding. The host activates a side quest to help the lighthouse keeper destroy the cage and release the Pokémon inside. Chapter 32 Piercing Fire, Pet Egg. After completing the task, you will receive 3 skill potions and 10 points. What is a skill potion? You can't see it now. You can only see the introduction after completing the task and getting the reward. However, the system rewards are all good things, and now it's just a matter of working hard to complete the mission. Huge rock snake, use earthquake on me and see if I don't break this cage. With a roar, the terrifying pressure was released, and the ground began to crack, rushing straight towards the cage. The cage was soon affected and the ground cracked. I thought about just breaking this cage, but it was too fanciful. The outer surface of the cage is protected, not even dented. Damn, that's a pretty good protection. Huge rock snake, use rock avalanche. I want to see how strong your defense is. The huge rocks condensed, and terrifying attacks and pressures were unleashed instantly. It simply hit the cage and bounced off, with no effect at all. Impact. The huge rock snake was equally angry, and swung its tail vigorously. Boom. A huge noise was made, and the blow landed on the cage, but the result was not ripples. It even caused some damage to the giant rock snake, making it look ugly. Liu Xin didn't look too good and thought thoughtfully, how to open this? No matter what, get them all out. Use all your strength to attack the cage in front of me. I don't believe it. It won't succeed. Four-headed the Pokémon stood in front of everyone again. They weren't too angry, but stared at the cage in front of them silently. Their eyes were filled with anger. How dare you treat a Pokémon like this? Liu Xin shouted, use your strongest attack to break this damn cage for me. The Super Fang Land Shark's claws lengthened, and golden light and dragon roars appeared during the period. Quickly approaching the cage, the dragon claws kept slamming down. What followed was a terrifying blow, and Flash Karakura was not to be outdone. The two attacks only caused a slight fluctuation in the cage's defense, and they were immediately shaken away, leaving their hands numb. Kara. Flash Karakura almost dropped the bone club in his hand, showing how good this guy's self-defense ability is. The Fanged Land Shark's dragon claws shattered in an instant, and its expression was equally unsightly. They were crushed by the first impact. At this moment, Liu Xin looked at the mutant elephant, patted its thigh and said, by the way, the mutant elephant's armor-piercing fire is very useful. How could I forget it? This time, you will be the main force. Xiao Jet flames, fireball. Countless fireballs began to attack, and the flames spread rapidly. The cage is simply a dead thing. There is no way to dodge it. They thought it would be 100% immune to attacks, but they ignored a special existence. The armor-breaking fire ignores all shields, and the cage's protection is nothing. Oops. The flames began to boil and burn instantly, burning the shield, and gradually began to have results. Okay, that's it. The little mutant elephant, you deserve top honors this time. Although the little mutant elephant is unruly, it will definitely be happy when it is praised and praised. It danced, and its attacks accelerated again. The little mutated elephant is good at special attacks, and can deal considerable damage. Soon, the space in the cage became wider and wider, expanding outwards. Liu Xin took advantage of the victory and continued, this is the time for you to show your skills. Super Fanged Land Shark, Flash Karakura, use your attacks to hit those areas that have Flash Karakura and the little mutant elephant. Combined attack skills. This is also a hidden method that Liu Xin has perfected. The little mutated elephant sprays flames directly on the bone stick, and the flames instantly rise. The flaming bone stick looks very beautiful. At this moment, the bone stick was full of piercing fire. This was the cooperation between the two. Liu Xin shouted, come on, let them know what terror is. Kara. The Flash Karakura looked very handsome at this moment, grabbing the flaming bone stick and quickly rushing towards the cage in front of him. The temperature rises, and the bone stick in his hand begins to swing. The special attack Flash Karakura at this moment has been upgraded to a new level, extremely terrifying. He quickly arrived at the cage, followed by the Super Fang Land Shark, and the two quickly attacked. Dragon's Breath. The dragon roar condensed in the mouth of the super sharp-toothed land shark, and was released in the next second. Driving along the gap, the cage will directly sink, and the center of gravity will shift. This attack was very successful, and allowed the cage to break through the defense. Immediately after came Flash Karakura's attack, and the flames carried by the bone club in his hand kept rippling. One club after another fell. The piercing fire combined with the attack of the bone club was extremely terrifying. The defense of the cage in front of him was completely broken, and in an instant, the cage shattered. The Pokémon inside fell to the ground. Their bodies were covered in wounds, and could no longer walk, but they looked at the four Pokémon with admiration and gratitude. Just wave the Flash Karakura and the flames will completely disappear. The cage has been broken. The power source of this monster is gone. A full-scale counterattack. It's time. They have been using this to suppress us before. It's time to put an end to it today. At that instant, the lighthouse keepers began to launch a counterattack. A resounding victory, the first time the lighthouse keepers had achieved such a perfect victory. The leader of the treasure thief group glared at Liu Xin fiercely and threatened, I remember you, kid. Not only will you ruin my plan, you will also destroy my robot. Very embarrassed. The fire-breathing dragon trainer was slightly shocked. How on earth did this kid do it? Even my level 60 veteran can't cause much damage to this cage. How did Liu Xin do it? The lighthouse keepers were very curious and soon their eyes fell on the mutated baby elephant. Coach Liu Xin, thanks to you, we were able to defeat the treasure thief group this time. If it wasn't for you, we might have been overpowered, or even defeated, this time. Walking up and down the lighthouse. Thank you all, this is a small gift of thanks, please accept it. A Pokémon pet egg was handed over, and Liu Xin took it, very excited. It is said that random Pokémon will hatch from pet eggs, so what kind of Pokémon will hatch from your own pet eggs? Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the quest. Received X3 skill potion and plus 10 points. Ding, the appearance of the pet egg was detected, and the host was helped to set it as a ground-type pet egg, and the ground-type Pokémon will hatch. No? Question mark? It was really arranged, so clearly that the system wouldn't even release the pet eggs. At first, I was still waiting to find out what kind of Pokémon it would be, but now, it was fixed to be a ground-type Pokémon. The enthusiasm was halved, and the curiosity was halved. Moriang suddenly shouted, Liu Xin, come here quickly, and take a look. It seems to be something left behind by the group of treasure thieves. Chapter 33 The trial begins. What is this? Liu Xin was also confused when he saw the blue light source object, which was slowly spreading out, similar to the escape route of the treasure robber group. The lighthouse keeper also discovered the blue light source and called out to observe. After investigation, a Pokémon research expert sighed and shook his head. The treasure robber group is getting crazier and crazier. When they absorb the negative energy of wild Pokémon as motivation, they should have thought that there are still people there. Although I don't know the principle, these are the superpowers released by Guoran Weng. They are the energy released by his own characteristics. No wonder the cage bounces energy and is so unbreakable. It turns out that Guoran Weng used Guoran Weng's energy. Guoran Weng has a blue body and a black tail. He has 2 eyes that look durable, and there is something like a belt on his head. And sure enough, Weng will not take the initiative to attack. He will only bounce off attacks. Therefore, the superpowers he releases are definitely the best materials and energy for defense. However, how to stimulate the opponent to use them and how to collect them is unknown. But the methods will never be smooth, and the ending will definitely not be pleasant. Liu Xin clenched his fists and said, it's too much. Isn't there a way? Isn't it possible to eradicate these villains? The lighthouse keeper said helplessly, no, we have tried, but we can't. I won't find them first. Secondly, we can't predict their number. It seems that with the number and scale they have today, if you hadn't taken action, we might have been defeated. Their strength is not very good, but together they are terrifying. After hearing this, Liu Xin also fell into deep thought. Ultimately, I'm still not strong enough. One day I'll come back and deal with all these things. It won't take long. What happened between the lighthouse and the treasure stealing group planted a seed in Liu Xin's heart. Show me your pet egg. Why is there no movement yet? Moriang came to see Liu Xin's pet egg again, basically every day, and this was already the 5th day at the lighthouse. There are still 1 or 2 days before the appearance of the giant dragon, this weekend. So Liu Xin also stopped training and let his Pokémon play around. Naturally, complaints are inevitable. The 4 guys are troublemakers. They beat up other people's Pokémon and then ran away. Liu Xin was not allowed to keep an eye on them at any time, but Morianka and Itokuro's Pokémon were very well behaved. Not so fast, at least a few days. At least during the period of fighting for the treasure, the hatching cannot be successful. Moriang thoughtfully said with a smile, it will be very dangerous for you to fight. So how about I help you keep it? I won't participate in this kind of battle. Itohei slowly walked over and agreed. It's true that the competition is very fierce, and great things can happen if you have to think about it yourself. Liu Xin handed the pet egg in his hand to Moriang, then looked at the 4 Pokémon in front of him. All the data appeared. Flash Karakura, level 20, level 30 evolves Gala, attack. 280 special attack. 240 defense. 200 special defense. 179 speed. 130 trays, hardhead, lightning rod flash trays, combat armor skills, headbutt, toughness, boomerang, perfect evasion, ground spikes, and bone sticks mutated baby elephant, level 22. You can evolve shield at level 30, but because of the mutation, you need a firestone to complete the evolution. Attack. 200 special attack. 260 defense. 200 special defense. 190 stats, sand skin variation features, piercing fire abilities, ground thorn, flame jet, fireball, earthquake, impact, hold, round huge rock snake, level 18. Passed at level 30, absorb steel stone to complete evolution, attack. 230 special attack. 190 defense. 260 special defense. 240 speed. 40 trays, hard, solid head. One hit moves are not valid for Pokémon with this tray. Gigantic stats, received by attacking with physical moves. Defense is reduced, and speed is increased. Abilities, Rockfall, Impact, Hardening, Squeeze, Burrow, Earthquake, Fangtooth, Landshark, level 20. Level 40 can evolve into Biting Landshark, attack. 300 special, attack. 245 defense. 170 special defense. 170 speed. 140 tray, Sandskin, Rough Skin Super Tray, Purple Aurora abilities, Quicksand Hell, Dragon's Breath, Stomp, Sand Shake, Shock, Split, Dragon Claw. They all have their merits. Some have powerful characteristics, some have great physical attacks, some have great special attacks, and some have great advantages in body size. Anyway, none of Liu Xin's 4 Pokémon are simple or weak. Moriang looked at the two of them and suggested, how about you to cooperate? After all, I didn't say that the lighthouse will be one-on-one by then, right? You two are not bad. If you work together, you will definitely get twice the result with half the effort. Can we get more treasures this way? After hearing this, the two of them looked at each other and understood. After being together for so long, we all know each other's strength. I have to admit that, if it weren't for Liu Xin, Itohen's Pokémon would be pretty good, but it would be overshadowed. Reaching a consensus, they began to put in effort the next day, and engage in some joint Pokémon battles. Like a mutated baby elephant and a flashing Karakura. Night falls, a storm rages, the seawater madly laps at the shore, and one has the feeling that a storm is brewing. A black shadow slowly emerged from the distant sky and slowly approached. The lighthouse keeper reminded everyone, be careful, the giant dragon is coming. Then we will open the lighthouse. We wish you all good luck. The giant dragon appeared. It has an orange body, large grey eyes, a soft mouth and nose, and small nostrils. It has 2 long slender antennae and a small horn on the top of its head. The striped belly is cream colored and extends to the tip of the long tail. There are 3 claws at the end of Koalasaurus's thick limbs. The junction between the legs and the body is clearly defined, but the junction between the arms and the body is very soft. The wings are small compared to its body and have membranes that can lift it into the sky. The giant dragon magnifies these features infinitely, making it look extremely beautiful. It flapped its small wings and spoke slowly. He can actually speak human language. Trainers who are here to participate in the test, this time I have prepared 5 treasures, which are distributed throughout the lighthouse. Please fight for them. Start now. The dim beacon suddenly shone thousands of feet away, full of life. All the trainers were excited and shouted, the treasure is mine, go ahead. Liu Xin and Itoheri looked at each other, mounted the flaming horse, and led the way, rushing straight towards the gate. Chapter 34, Becoming a Dog Master, Liu Xin. There was no obstacle at the door of the lighthouse, and the two of them quickly entered. Hurry up, I see the first treasure. That's the thing with the flashing red light. Speed up. In the center of the second floor, a flashing red treasure lay quietly, waiting for everyone to arrive. But is it really that simple? Tornado. Gusts of strong wind swept across the area, quickly converging with the air currents to form a terrifying tornado attack. Attacking indiscriminately, the lethality is terrifying. When Liu Xin saw it, he immediately knew that this was an attack from a giant dragon. I thought I could just take this treasure casually, but it turns out that there is still a test. As the strong wind blew in front of him, Itaguro released the metal monster. Metal Monster is a mechanical life form composed of 2 iron dumbbells. The entire body is blue in color, the body is saucer shaped, and it has 2 arms with huge iron claws, similar in shape to iron dumbbells. Its eyes are red, there is a silver spike on its face and back, and 2 pairs of sharp silver blades protrude diagonally backwards from the left and right sides of its body. This is one of Itagiro's new Pokémon. Use telekinesis to quickly dodge these attacks. Metal Monster. Liu Xin and Itagiro stood on the head at the same time, and it felt very strange. The feeling of being suspended in the air was really good, and Liu Xin instantly fell in love with it. The power of thought constantly attracted Liu Xin and Itohei, and he shouted, "Hurry up, it will be simpler and more violent later, but this method is the fastest." The Metal Monster rushed forward, completely ignoring these tornadoes. There is a saying that these tornadoes will not cause harm to it and will pass by roughly. But Liu Xin and Itagiro were not like that. They ran through the storm circle, their hair messy, a little messy, and in a trance. It's really fast, but I'm really not used to it. Fortunately, Liu Xin didn't get dizzy, otherwise he would have vomited to death. They are fast, but there are also guys who are not slow and immediately make eye contact. Go, giant rock snake, stop them. Metal Monster, use telekinesis to get the treasure. The huge rock snakes weighed like this, and the corridor was directly blocked, making it impossible to enter. And this period of time is enough for the Metal Monster to take away the treasure. Damn it, it's this huge rock snake. Spire, use Storm. Fire Dinosaur, use Spark. Gem Starfish, use Flash Star. Harden. The surface of the huge rock snake has a metallic luster that can withstand many attacks. Itagiro didn't let the huge rock snake fight alone, ordering the fire horse to charge forward and offset most of the damage. Boom. After a burst of impact, the huge rock snake took away the first treasure with only minor injuries. Too much. Liu Xin and Itagiro have undoubtedly become the target of public criticism and are in everyone's sights. Come back, giant rock snake. He put away the giant rock snake, rode on the flaming horse, and left quickly. I have to say that the 2 of them ran away very quickly. Follow me. As long as you don't leave the lighthouse, there is a chance that the treasure will be mine. The powerful army behind them began to chase after Liu Xin and Itohei. This team is so spectacular. I don't think there will be so many people chasing me in my life, Itohei joked, and Liu Xin raised the corners of his mouth, thinking of a bad idea. Looking at the steps in front of him, he smiled evilly and said, "Anyway, we have become their target. Can we do the last thing?" What does this mean? However, what he did next really made everyone curse him. The mutated little elephant uses jet flames to turn this area into a sea of fire. In a sea of fire, the huge rock snake began to build an earth wall. It also has the assistance of Flash Karakura and Super Fang Shark. They are all ground-type Pokémon and are good at building earth walls. In an instant, an earth wall tens of meters high suddenly emerged, which was reinforced layer by layer. So inhuman. Itagiro couldn't help but applaud. Great, you are good at being a dog. You know, there is only one way to the lighthouse, and now Liu Xin sealed this place in just 1 minute. The piercing fire is an inextinguishable flame that acts as a deterrent. Next is the earth wall, which has at least a dozen layers, and is reinforced by the telekinesis of the Metal Monster. It was absolutely impossible for them to break through this defense without spending a few minutes. Come on, you can come after us, we have an absolute advantage now. Liu Xin was confident of victory, which really made the trainers desperate. At first they didn't pay attention, and took a deep breath. Everyone thought that this was Kualang's test and shouted, "They're still intact. Maybe they're on the opposite side of the sea of fire. Let's speed up. Let's run now, and catch up with them." Hey, how can this flame be extinguished? No? What's going on? I'll go, it's a bit hot, what should I do? These flames aren't very harsh, they're just threatening. They're not harmful except for being hot. After breaking through the flames, everyone was stunned as they looked at the stone wall that was almost connected to the ceiling. Have they already broken through such a thick earth wall and reached the back? We can't wait any longer. Let's work together to break through the earth wall. Multiple attacks together didn't completely break it. Once again to break through. It took more than 2 minutes. twice as long as Liu Xin and the others. Then the wall building effect emerged. Okay, let's continue climbing. We are about to reach the next treasure. Do you see the light? Damn it, why is the earth wall blocking the light? It's a giant rock snake, a glowing Karakara. Damn it, it's Liu Xin and the others. An earth wall built by me. I met love in the corner, and there was another earth wall in front of me. Break through this path, and follow another one. Question mark? How many earth walls are there? Question mark? The trainers all started shouting, Liu Xin, Itohei, wait for me. I'll catch you, and show you your colors. If you have the ability, build a one-story earth wall. Liu Xin is really such a dog. Basically, after walking a few dozen steps, an earth wall will rise in front of them. And it's not an ordinary earth wall. It's so thick that it's unimaginable. Hearing the reprimand, Itaguro shook his head and said, you really are a bastard. Fortunately, you and I are teammates, otherwise I would have scolded you to death. There's a small ball of light in front of you. It seems that you have to pass the small ball of light to get to the treasure. The second test began. Liu Xin pushed the other Pokémon away, and Itohei did the same. Only one of each, the shining Karakara and the fire horse, remained. As they entered the ball of light, a ripple spread out. Immediately the terrifying pressure began to fall. Boom. An unprecedented weight fell on their bodies and everyone was caught off guard. The power of the dragon. This is the second test of the giant dragon. We must advance with the power of the dragon to get the treasure. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, The King of Cheats, Liu Xin. The continuous earthen walls exhausted those behind them physically and mentally. In the past, he was still very grateful to Liu Xin for repelling the group of treasure thieves, but now basically everyone wants to kill Liu Xin. How long does it take to see the treasure in the end? I'm going to be very angry. Don't let me see Liu Xin, or I'll have to beat him up outside the lighthouse. Moriang Xiang was very confused. What happened inside? Why do I hear all the words scolding Liu Xin? Did she do something? The lighthouse keeper and a few people who were not involved shook their heads. They didn't know what was going on inside. If they knew, they definitely couldn't help but complain about Liu Xin. She's a bitch. However, there were some sneaky figures slowly approaching outside. If Liu Xin and the others were here, they would definitely be able to recognize them at a glance. They were the two from Team Rocket. Daddy asked curiously, are you sure that an ambush here can succeed? Masamikora said seriously, after my careful calculation and thinking, this is definitely the path they will take when the time comes. If there is a trap here, we will be able to do it. Wouldn't it be easy to catch them at the right time and obtain the treasure? Suddenly, several figures slowly walked out and said to Daddy and others, okay, can we be included in your plan? After all, we also want to get revenge. Masamikora nodded. It's easier to do things with more people, so let's go. Longwei is very strong, but it's a constant pressure. There will be no changes during this period and Liu Xin and Itohei will quickly adapt. In order to speed up progress, everyone allows Pokémon to use skills to advance. The metal monster's telekinesis is quite useful and can offset most of the dragon's power, making walking much easier. As for Liu Xin, although Super Fanged Land Shark was under great pressure, she enjoyed it immensely. This level of Longwei is not only a challenge, but also an opportunity for her. Liu Xin could see that as he moved forward here, the experience value of the Super Fang Shark was constantly increasing, faster than the monsters outside. We were almost there, we still had a few meters to go. This time the treasure was shining with a blue light, and its aura was gentle in all aspects. It was completely different from the red treasure before. Liu Xin roughly guessed its function before even seeing what the treasure was. I understand. Liu Xin put away the treasure and immediately moved forward at a very fast speed. Coming out of the dragon's power, I feel relaxed and comfortable. There is a feeling of rebirth, very refreshing. Everyone has to endure the dragon's power. It's not that fast. Now we can do more advanced cheats, and we have enough time. Itohei took a deep breath. Fortunately, you are not my opponent, otherwise I would be in danger. You are good at being a dog, what should you do? The corner of Liu Xin's mouth raised, and there were already many ideas in his mind, which were completely different from Tu Kayang's. The earth wall is still too easy for them. Coming out of the mighty dragon, they took a closer look. There's finally no earth wall blocking it. That kid must have spent a lot of energy to resist the dragon's power, so he can't make it. Quick, they already got 2 treasures. We need to pick up the pace. They had no idea that the calm situation in front of them was actually lurking with murderous intent. He was focused on catching up with Liu Xin in front and didn't care about his surroundings at all. Suddenly, the trap is triggered. Those who walked faster were directly sucked into the ground in front of them and fell into it. Super Fang Shark's ability, the Quicksand Hell, is hidden by the metal monster's telekinesis. Although it can't last long, it's too easy to restrain them and takes longer than an earth wall. This place was too narrow and the path in front of them was blocked by a group of people stuck in the mud. Liu Xin, we will never let you go easily. And Itaguro, if I catch you, I'll do a good job. The people behind were blocked and began to use their magic powers. They used their Pokémon to jump over these guys. But who could have imagined that there was another Quicksand Hell in front of them? Once again, he fell into it, completely predicting all their actions and thoughts. Then, the 3rd treasure will be easily obtainable. When we were about to get the 4th treasure, they must have unlocked the trap. So we need to set up a 3rd trap, and this trap is really powerful. Itaguro was already convinced of Liu Xin's evil deeds. Ideas came up one after another, endlessly. They arrived at the 3rd treasure area, and sure enough, they had been taken away. On the surface it still seems calm and nothing is wrong. Everyone be careful. It may not be calm here, but it's full of traps. We must be careful and avoid being careless. It's true, they are afraid. They have been tricked by Liu Xin. There are traps on every level. Who can resist them? As a result, few dared to go first. Now, who will be the first? The truth is simple and easy to understand. A muscular man stepped forward and shouted, I'm here to find him. As the saying goes, who will go to hell if I don't go to hell? Just remember to get the good things and show them to me. I'm going. The strong man was righteous and his back looked so tragic, as if he was going to die. Everyone behind him saw it and was astonished. It seems to say, have a good trip. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps away from them, dozens of meters away, but it's still okay. No way. Is there really no cheating? According to Liu Xin's method, it is unscientific. The strong man laughed and said, haha, there really is no cheating. Brothers, if we meet again by chance, I will make the first move. This guy's Pokémon was a wind speed dog, and it was extremely fast, and it got rid of them all at once. Damn it. Only then did all the trainers react, pushing forward and then sending them forward. I was careless. I didn't expect that there were no traps on this floor. Instead, they wasted a lot of time on this level, which was even longer than before. They began to chase each other one after another, and the strong man quickly saw Liu Xin and Itohei. Aha, I finally caught you. Let's see if I don't surpass you. But when the boy came closer, he saw Liu Xin and Itohei's strange smiles. There seemed to be bad music playing in his ears. I'll go. Young people don't respect martial arts, perform sneak attacks, engage in group fights, and besiege me. A 14-year-old energetic young man, the metal monster and the super fang land shark. They took action at the same time, without even giving themselves a chance to react, and directly took them away. After the fight, run and leave immediately. They want to go as fast as they want. When everyone arrives, they find the strong man in the lead. Everyone stood there and said something strange. Why did he suddenly fall here? Is there a trap in this place? Chapter 36 The Final Judgment against Kuala. Everyone stopped again, staring at the strong man's frightened expression in fear. Look carefully at his expression. He seems frightened and surprised. He must have encountered something terrible. It means that this trap is extraordinary. You must be careful. Self-inflicted drama. Step by step, He advances attentively, and the pace of the journey slows down again. Itaguro was a little confused, and put away the fourth treasure in his hand. What's going on? Why not set a trap, and intercept and defeat someone there? But this method really slowed them down. It's much slower than before. It's strange. Liu Xin patted Otohenu's shoulder and said, "This is the power of experience and knowledge. Watch and learn. At the last level, we have plenty of time to cheat. If I don't torture them to death, I will make sure that they will never forget it for the rest of their lives." Liu Xin's smile made Otohenu's scalp numb and his back felt cold. It was really scary. Fortunately, the man beside me is a teammate, not an opponent. The noise grew louder and louder, and the slogans insulting Liu Xin and Itaguro grew louder and louder. Defeating the two of them seemed to be the common goal of the researchers this time. The lighthouse keeper was shocked, covered his face, and said, "I've never seen the researchers so excited and united. I'm really curious about what the two of them did. Can it be said that they are powerful for being able to awaken? Public outrage on such a scale? Or are they unbelievable?" Moriang Xiang was jumping around like a curious baby, extremely curious about what was going on inside. Someone came out. Someone came out of the lighthouse, and a group of people immediately gathered around him. What happened? What happened inside? What did Liu Xin and Itaguro do to you? He is simply not a human being. He actually did something like this. I can't live anymore. How could he do this to me? It's outrageous. They are really dogs. They are very dogs. Victim number 3. This is an extremely painful experience. I don't want to remember it or tell it. They are the Kinshao. Moriang Xiang's photo immediately appeared, and he smiled and said, "No, it's not like that. How could Liu Xin and Otohenu like guys?" But what they said is similar. Akiu. The two people who were setting the trap suddenly sneezed and looked at each other and said, "Who is thinking about us? I have a very bad feeling that we are very bad in the minds of others." The two of them are being hunted down by everyone and become public enemies. How can they be okay? Wait and set a trap. Don't stop. Their faces were livid and ugly. There was no trap all the way. Did that guy fall by himself? Why isn't there a single trap? Question mark? They are going crazy now. The fourth treasure has indeed disappeared. I was already prepared in my heart, and then quickly walked towards the fifth trap. I don't believe there will be a trap this time. They definitely won't set a trap, because they didn't expect that we are no longer cautious. Go at full speed. I don't believe in it. It will be a trap. Everyone started going at full speed, moving forward, but not taking a step. Screams came one after another, and one trainer after another fell into the trap. Why? Why is there a trap now? Liu Xin, Itaguro, you have no heart. You are not human. There were many traps in it, although no one would be hurt. But absolutely unable to move. They could do nothing but stay in the pit, unable to move. On the other hand, Liu Xin and Otohenu reached the top. The giant dragon is waiting for them here. This is the final test. He spoke. This is the most grim test. I have seen many tests for so long, but this time, you are the only one who has done it. I have to say, Liu Xin, you are a real dog. The giant dragon received Otohenu's approval. What? Question mark? Isn't this guy a mythical Pokemon? He actually scolded himself. Liu Xin sighed and said, I wanted to chat with you quietly, but what I got in return was your insults. Okay, I won't pretend anymore. I will show my cards. Do anything, in person. First place is Liu Xin. Otohenu glanced at him. The giant dragon didn't pay much attention and whispered, calling you a dog is a reward for you, not an insult. You are the dog, and your entire family is a dog. With a smile on his face, he said in his heart, the final test is to fight the Pokémon I sent. As long as you can defeat it, you will succeed. Finally, he returned to the Pokémon battle. Come on, no matter what Pokémon it is, they can work together to solve it. But the next second, they were blinded on the spot. Shocked, Liu Xin waved his hand and said, no, brother. We have something to talk about. Pokémon duels are Pokémon duels. You don't need to go to battle in person, right? The giant dragon slowly shrank. It's that simple. Standing in front of them, I felt warm. The opponent is actually the super ancient Pokémon, the giant dragon. Don't look at the joke. How do you fight? Itohei swallowed and said, this is a bit exciting. No wonder the ultimate treasure requires the cooperation of a group of people to get it. The giant dragon said, it's true that I didn't do it myself before. But you guys have something in meaning. My hands are itchy. So let me go meet you. Of course I will suppress the power. It will be as strong as your strongest Pokémon. Really honest and compress his power. After becoming a level 28 Groudon, the stats were still a bit scary, but they gave Liu Xin hope. Giant dragon level 28 attack, 400 special attack, 350 wheel attack together later, and we must not stop attacking, understand? The training we've been doing during this period has worked. He appeared, and there were 8 Pokémon standing on the field. This is considered the largest battle. As a dragon-type super fang land shark, when he saw Groudon, he immediately became belligerent. A dragon-type Pokémon, a warrior by nature, just like when I saw Axatooth. Karakara, little elephant, go find the fire horse. The metal monster moves towards the great rock snake, and then a full-scale attack begins. Them in an instant. A figure rushed out of the sea of fire, holding a bone club, and advancing with the intent to fight. Chapter 37, Battle against Groudon, defeated. Very fast, very fast. Flash Karakara's figure was approaching, the bone club in his hand, was swinging very skillfully, and the 2 flames were suspended above it, which was very beautiful. Kara, brilliant speed. Groudon, who was dozens of meters away, appeared in front of Karakara in an instant. The fleshy fist strikes quickly, and accurately. It can't be hit with a physical attack of up to 400. Karakara can't withstand it. Mental power. The fist stopped in the void, allowing Karakara to dodge perfectly. The metal monster took action. Although it only stopped for a breath, it was enough for Karakara to dodge. After all, fighting spirit exists, and instinct is strong. Karakara, who was dodging, did not give up, turned around and struck with the bone club tap. The simple attack pierced the airwaves and was unstoppable. Defeated. With super speed, he directly grabbed the bone stick, and with a backhand, he instantly threw Karakara away from his back. Ding, the fast giant dragon hits the flashing Karakara. The effect is obvious. Boom. The giant Groudon, who was originally thinking of continuing to attack, instantly began to burn with his hands. This is the little elephant's armor-breaking fire, a flame that ignores everything. Even if you are a mythical beast, you have to endure it. An eternal flame? It seems that you are a problem. We must deal with you first. The distance of tens of meters is very simple. However, as he got closer, the ground around him began to soften, and mud and sand flowed and gathered. Quicksand hell. Dragon claw. The Lion Fang shark did not hesitate. This quicksand hell had already been waiting for him. The claws on both sides lengthen, exuding a silver luster, and quickly attack Earthquake. The large rock snake directly operates the earthquake, causing depressions and fluctuations in the area, restricting Groudon bite. If the opponent's dragon claw is blocked, it will also be blocked by the dragon claw. Purple aurora. The entire body of the Fang shark was shrouded in purple light, and the dragon claws were instantly strengthened. However, only dragon claw at this level can compete with it. Even if the Groudon has compressed its strength, it is still terrifying. Steel claws. The metal monster joined the battle, extending its huge steel claws and attacking directly. Groudon's small wings began to attack, and the storm passed by, beginning to form tornadoes that affected the metal monster. It is so powerful that one Pokémon can take on so many Pokémon at the same time. Ladder, who had finished gathering energy, began to attack. Must kill the front teeth. His teeth began to show a silver glow, which was extremely intimidating. Stare. Groudon opened his eyes, and the powerful deterrents immobilized Ladder, causing him to move slowly. The large rock snake waved its tail and firmly struck Groudon. It didn't do much damage. The little elephant followed the large rock snake to attack together, shooting out multiple flames, and the fire horse even turned its entire body into flames to attack. The sea of fire spread out, basically surrounding Kuala to attack. Caracalla didn't fall down. Even though he had many wounds on his body, he still took his bone club to attack. The boomerang flew out forcefully and directly attacked Kuala. Boom. Multiple attacks exploded at the same time, not only hitting Dragonite, but also causing all the Pokémon to retreat. The explosion was loud, making the testers below very curious. What's going on up there? Is there a Pokémon battle? It's very intense. Let's break free from these traps and go up to take a look. I even feel a variety of auras, which are interesting. The lights on the top of the tower flickered, causing the people outside the lighthouse to look on in astonishment. The battle looked fierce. The lighthouse keeper whispered, "This is the first time I have seen a battle of this scale. It is really fierce. It seems that this test contains a lot of gold." The smoke cleared, and a certain color appeared on Kuala. More or less scars. It seemed that the attack worked. Before Kuala could speak, an inexplicable force fell on him. His entire body was frozen, and when he looked closer, he realized that the Kyuubi, who had not been able to exert any strength, was attacking resentment. This is a ghost type attack. Although the effect of the Ninetales is weakened, it can still be effective. It was supposed to be a stun, but Kuala had great resilience and could not be hit. But it is enough to settle. Attack again. Liu Xin and Itaguro shouted at the same time, starting the second wave of attack, which was also the last wave. The Fang Shark took the lead and exhaled its dragon breath. The terrifying dragon roar was the first to bear the brunt, rushing straight towards Kuala like a broken bamboo. Light cannon. The metal monster is like pinching a spiral pill, and the terrifying ball cannon condenses during the period. The breath continued to spread, and the power slowly increased. The sizzling stream floats inside, which seems very simple. It only took less than 5 seconds to accumulate power, and then it was fiercely launched, closely followed by the dragon breath. Accumulated flame invasion. The fiery horse and the Ninetales were engulfed in flames at the same time. The terrifying flames of temperature rose, and enveloped and engulfed them in the next second. The burning speed of the two continued to increase, and their attack power also increased crazily. They did not hesitate, and rushed forward immediately, very fast. The little elephant merged the flames with the earth thorns, and the burning earth thorns exploded crazily from the ground of Kuala. The armor-piercing fire mercilessly eroded and enveloped Kuala's body, causing severe burn damage. The big rock snake spun the rock avalanche, and countless rocks began to besiege it. Ladder returns to normal, and is still the murderous front tooth. Multiple attacks were launched at the same time, with great momentum and astonishing power. When the boomerang bone club rushed towards Caracalla, it grabbed it and spun, using the power of twisting and turning to strengthen the boomerang's attack power. The reinforced bone club followed multiple attacks. At the same time, 8 attacks hit Kuala, but Kuala still failed to fight back. I was careless. This wave I did not dodge. The moment I'm hit by resentment, I will be destined to suffer heavy losses. Boom. There was a loud noise and a surge of air. Liu Xin and Itohei were blown away and couldn't open their eyes. What's the result? They didn't know that only the system's voice kept coming out of Liu Xin's mind. Ding Ding Ding's attack was obviously very effective against Kuala, but the next second, they couldn't laugh. The smoke instantly dispersed. Kuala's small wings flapped, and its appearance was covered with a light layer of defense. It was actually blocked. Storm. In order to perform its counter-attack, it flapped its wings at high speed to match its super speed. The entire top of the tower was swept away by the storm, and the ruthless attack devoured all the Pokémon. The screams and wailing continued. Itohei and Liu Xin were furious, but they couldn't do anything. You can definitely hold on. Today's Kuala is no good anymore. As long as you hold on in the storm, you can win. He clenched his fists and felt nervous. Liu Xin and Itohei were silently praying until the storm cleared. Everyone fell and no one got up. Lost. Chapter 38. Unbreakable Will. The test ends. No Pokémon could withstand the storm and fell completely. Lost. Completely lost. Instead, Kuala let out a sigh of relief. Despite his defense, he was still scarred. His body at this level has reached its limit. If he hadn't released some strength, he would have fallen long ago. It was enough to show that these 8 Pokémon did a good job and were able to push the dragon to this point. Koala said pitifully, obviously, as long as there are Pokémon in the storm, you can win, but it's a pity. Koala, who was about to say something, narrowed his pupils, as if he had seen something extraordinary. Liu Xin couldn't believe it, his eyes were full of surprise. He stood up. There are Pokémon standing, and as long as the dragon hasn't announced the end, they have a chance. Kara. An angry roar rang out, and the hunched Karakali used all his strength to hold the bone rod and stand up. There were scratches all over his body, and even one of his eyes was so badly scratched that it couldn't be opened. At this moment, it was impossible to stand up. But he stood firm. Still roaring angrily, he continued to declare war on Koala, and never gave up. You're so grumpy. Liu Xin was excited, clenched his fists and said, Koala, did you see it? My Pokémon didn't fall, it got up, I won. He took it to Harry, and the other party was also infected by him, and his heart was pounding. Before Koala could speak, another roar came out. Kara. Liu Xin and Koala looked shocked. This guy was actually telling other Pokémon to stand up. Itaguro whispered, your Flash Karakara has been beaten stupidly, and you've been roaring? This is all you have. The battle isn't over yet, it felt like this. ? After hearing the explanation, Itaguro immediately made a move. This Flash Karakara is too passionate, almost like a high school boy. Other Pokémon don't have the physical strength or ability to stand up, so it would be good to be awake. Fang-toothed land shark. There was actually a Pokémon that responded to Karakara's roar and used all its strength to support itself. Although it fell down many times, it slowly got up. Panting, it looked at Koala and prepared to fight. Although it was helplessly, he was energetic. He stood up. Koala didn't expect that a second Pokémon would actually stand up. Little elephant. The second Pokémon stood up, a mutated elephant. It was covered in wounds, but it didn't care. A faint flame slowly rose, burning in all directions. This represents its fighting spirit and its complete refusal to give in to the fast dragon in front of it. The eyes are very fierce. The ground began to slowly tremble, and the large rock snake, which had fallen several times, stood up. It also did not give in to the fast dragon in front of it, roaring angrily to express its fighting intent. 4 belligerent Pokémon, 4 disobedient Pokémon, and 4 rebellious Pokémon, all stood up. This is their unwavering will to fight, even if they are bruised and exhausted. Liu Xin and Itohei couldn't help but be astonished. Winning or losing no longer mattered to them. The most important thing is that these 4 Pokémon deserve respect. As for Itaguro, no one stood up, but he didn't say anything. After all, not every Pokémon can be as tenacious as Liu Xin's 4. Sometimes, being warlike is both a disadvantage and an advantage. The 4 of them were making preparations for the fight. Koala waved his hands and said, I lost, you won. It's really surprising that these guys can still stand up after being so severely injured. I admire the will to surrender. After being recognized by the giant dragon, the 4 boys breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Liu Xin also took them back and worked very hard. This completely changed Liu Xin's view of his warlike character. The treasure shining with a golden light was handed over, and the huge dragon whispered, this is the last treasure. I didn't expect that all 5 treasures would fall into your hands. It's really strange. Also only get 2. Before they knew it, they had surpassed the previous challenges. When they set the trap, they already saw that it was not simple. Itaguro rubbed his head. Fortunately, Liu Xin and I are teammates. Otherwise, it would be a problem if I could stay here this time. Koala and Liu Xin agreed. If it weren't for you, there wouldn't be anyone. Liu Xin, standing here, you are completely a team. Without you, there would be no one. We are inseparable. The huge dragon waved his fat hand and said in a good mood, this test and you all have allowed me to learn a lot and gain a lot. So I will reward you with another good thing, my blessings of strength. Koala blessings? ? Isn't this the reward for the mission? It seems that Liu Xin has completed his mission. Sure enough, the next second the system rang in my mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the mission and receiving Koalang's blessing and 50 points. My blessing can only be given to one of your Pokémon. I will give you a minute to think about it. Who should I bless it for? Liu Xin quickly discovered that her 4 Pokémon weren't easy, so there was only one target to choose from. That was the pet egg that hadn't hatched yet. Are you sure about the blessing? Both of them nodded. Koalang waved his hand, and 2 small dragons waved, flapped their small wings, and flew towards the target. Itagiro was very direct, and gave the blessing to Anima. A fast small dragon mark appeared on the fiery horse's head area. Although it wasn't obvious, its attributes were completely improved. And another target lightly landed on the pet egg. Gilulu. A strange sound was heard, the pet egg rolled, and a small dragon mark appeared on the surface. Hey, what's going on? It suddenly started moving. Is it about to hatch? Don't be so fast. Your father hasn't come out yet. Wait a minute. Knowledge memory. Pets will identify the first creatures they see after birth as their parents. So isn't the first person the other person sees when they are born? That's not possible. That's absolutely impossible. She was running with her pet egg in her arms, very scared. But after tossing for dozens of seconds, the pet egg became quiet again. But there are 2 more pairs of small wings sticking out from the eggshell, which is very magical. The chubby little wings are so cute. Then what kind of Pokémon is this? I'm very curious. I hope you will hatch it. After the blessing was completed, the giant dragon slowly left. It left a message and disappeared into the clouds. See you in the future. Interesting trainer. The light of the lighthouse also disappeared in an instant. This is the end of the Zhenghu Lighthouse test. Chapter 39. Divide the treasures and the crisis spreads. Liu Xin and Itagiro smiled at each other and were playing rock, paper, scissors. You win 2 out of 3 games. You can't cheat. This is the last game. Whoever loses will go and take away the trap. You know, the group of guys below are still trapped. If you don't clear it up, they will probably be killed. They will sleep until night. Will these 2 kind-hearted people allow this to happen? Mainly because he was afraid of getting a worse beating, he decided to ask someone to disarm the trap. No, it's impossible. Why me? Itohei knelt on the ground and looked at his scissors in disbelief, indeed losing. Liu Xin patted him on the shoulder and said, this is all God's arrangement. Go ahead. I'll leave it to you to disarm the trap. Can't you go? The answer is impossible. Itokuro walked up to the crowd tremblingly and said jokingly, how is everyone doing on the ground? Are you comfortable being trapped? Liu Xin hid her face and said helplessly, if you can talk more. I'm afraid you won't be able to see the sun in the future. Everyone who had lost much of their anger gradually began to get angry. Everyone looked at each other with evil eyes. Are you here to laugh at us? Can you bear this? Wait for me to come out and give you the Shoryuken of love with my backhand. He was a little out of control and said awkwardly, everyone, please be human. Let's meet again in the future. I'll release you now and you won't chase me later, okay? Just chase Liu Xin. It's her idea anyway. What a good way to divert the fire. Few people believed it. After all, these traps are all related to the Earth, and Liu Xin happens to be a full-time Earth attribute trainer. Liu Xin clenched his fists. Damn it, Itohei, you actually betrayed me. Then I'll take a step first. He originally planned to leave when the group of people chased after Itohei, but now he had to leave first. As he passed by everyone, he said with a smile, the weather is nice today. Are you all happy with this trial? See you later. He disappeared in an instant. Itaguro wanted to run away, but the sight was enough to kill him, making him stay and unlock it. The first person to come out of the lighthouse was Liu Xin. When the guardians saw him, they felt that it was normal. In their opinion, Liu Xin is the seed player, along with the screams inside the tower. Don't you understand? Then came the cries for help. Don't chase me, it's all Liu Xin's fault. Help. Itaguro led the way, followed by a group of people, all of whom were his pursuers. When being pursued, human potential is endless. Itaguro looked at the light outside the tower and said with a smile, you have no chance. I have arrived outside the lighthouse. You are not allowed to touch me anymore. This is the rule of Zhenghu Lighthouse. No outsiders allowed. A big duel, at least not in the eyes of the keeper. A group of people were furious, but they could do nothing. The lighthouse keeper was curious and asked around, only to find out how outrageous this test was. These two guys got all the treasures and tricked them. After learning of the methods, all the keepers smiled bitterly. They were really not simple masters. Don't let us meet you in the next test, or I promise to deal with you with all our strength. When the time comes, wait for us. Of course, Liu Xin had no intention of staying here, and would simply give up as soon as he saw fit. Everyone understood this. Itagiro was also ready to leave, but Mori Yasuka had already packed her bags, because she was tired of playing. What a girl who likes the new and hates the old. However, they have to travel to Deadly City to compete. Mori Xiang said excitedly, Liu Xin, look, your eggs have wings. Liu Xin subconsciously looked away, but then realized that he was talking about pet eggs. He took a deep breath and said, this should be Koalang's blessing. We slowly told Mori Xiang the story of the trial, and even took out the treasure to share. After all, they didn't look closely at it. The first treasure is a fruit that glows with red light. After taking it, it can boost fire type attacks. He was very direct and decisive, and gave it to Itokuro. Although Liu Xin also had a mutated elephant, its effect was not as good as Itokuro's Pokémon. Especially after the blessing, the fire horse becomes more beautiful and majestic, and its figure is somewhat stronger. It has the same small wings of Koalang on both sides, which is very cute. The second treasure, Liu Xin gave it the giant claw crab from Mori Xiang. This is an item that can only be used by water type Pokémon. After taking it, you can gain healing abilities, but only for water type Pokémon. The attributes are really good. The third treasure is unique to ground-type Pokémon, a small ring. After wearing it, it can improve its own defensive attributes. It will continue to improve as long as it is worn, but it can only be worn by one Pokémon. This means that Liu Xin can only be worn by one of the Pokémon. After binding, other Pokémon cannot use it. It is obvious that Liu Xin directly gave Flash Caracalla the credit for being able to defeat Koalang this time and Caracalla's unbreakable will. The fourth treasure has no fixed attributes. It is a pair of gloves that, once worn by a Pokémon, will temporarily have fighting attributes. However, there are time and frequency limits, so use it once a week. The fifth treasure is specially prepared for dragon-type Pokémon, and can be used directly by the Super Fang Shark in front of you. A skill book that any dragon-type Pokémon can learn 100%. Bleeding. As long as you use any skill to cause injuries to the opponent will continue to lose blood. The amount of blood lost is determined by the user's special attack. It's really a good skill. Can kite dead opponent. After the land shark learned, its claws became sharper, with a little more red flowing on them. Visibly stronger. The 5 treasures are easy to distribute, and the 4th boxing glove is also included in Liu Xin's hand. The overall strength of the 3-person team has improved by a level, and even Mori Xiang has become much stronger. Blue crocodile. Suddenly, the blue crocodile walking in front stopped, and roared in front. What's wrong? Mori Xiang stepped forward, and asked what happened to the blue crocodile. Why did it suddenly change? Liu Xin translated in a low voice, there is a trap up ahead. I often encounter traps, so I'm very sensitive to them. That's what it says. Itagiro smiled and said, if there is a trap, we will do it. Do you know, if we try it? I don't think there is anyone who can make more disgusting traps than you. Fiery horse, use flames in front of you. With the flame spray, all the obstacles in front of you were cleared, and a large pit full of traps appeared in front of everyone. I was very vigilant. I thought the trap might catch you. But unfortunately, that's the end for you. A terrifying aura came, and a level 40 hippo slowly followed everyone. An unprecedented sense of crisis strikes chapter 40, crushing and miserable battle situation. Level 40 hippo beast. The hippo's entire body is light brown, with black around its nose, eyelids, legs, and back. It has 6 protruding holes on its back that allow sand to flow out, and it has a short, black tail. It looked very scary, and most importantly, its red eyes were filled with fighting spirit. The level has surpassed too many. The most powerful fire horse is now level 30, but the attribute restriction is too strong, and he is no match at all. Why did you encounter such a terrifying existence here? Liu Xin had no one who could defeat a level 40 hippo beast. What's more, the other party is not a single person. Counting the 2 old friends from Team Rocket, there were 5 people. Ah, little devil, we meet again. This time, let's see how you run away. Leave your Pokémon to me. After Moriang watched carefully, he was shocked and said, those 3 guys are all thieves. People. From Baojun. And there are 2 guys from Team Rocket. Did you just find out now? The reflex arc is also too long. The odds of winning are almost 0. There is no chance of victory at all. They are not on the same level. Itaguro whispered, what should we do now? It seems that they won't let us go easily. Not only will they not let us go easily, they may even threaten their lives. After all, they had foiled and destroyed the treasure thief group's plan. Otherwise, the treasure thief group would really have invaded the entire Zhenghu lighthouse this time. The man from the treasure thief group said coldly, damn it for ruining our plan at that time. So don't even think about leaving here alive. Leave them all behind. Liu Xin said with a stern face, I'll find a way to drag them away. Hurry up and go back to get help. The Zhenghu Lighthouse Guardian should come to help us, and I do my best to delay him. Itaguro wanted to say something, but Hippomon started attacking. The entire ground opened up, and the lethality was terrifying. Dust flew and Liu Xin roared, quick, run. Itohei gritted his teeth, lifted Moriang up, and sat on the fire horse. He shouted, Kit, don't die. Wait, you must hold on. Moriang thought about staying, but it attacked again and directly split them apart. The fire horse's wings flapped. Although it looked small, it was actually very fast. But at this speed, it takes 5 or 6 minutes to go back and forth. Liu Xin had to hold on for 5 or 6 minutes, which was easier said than done. The hippo cut through the smoke and stared coldly at Liu Xin. Hippo. With a loud roar, rubble began to pile up in all directions. Mountain slide. The body of the big rock snake blocked Liu Xin, and a boomerang flew out. Dragon's breath. Jet flames. Boom. The sky was filled with rubble, and all the Pokémon acted together, barely able to withstand the hippo's strong attack. The little guy's Pokémon guitar are out, so let's act. Team Rocket and other treasure thief groups began to act. 2 fists are hard to beat with 4 hands. No matter how powerful Liu Xin's Pokémon is, they will be no match. Multiple attacks were launched at the same time, and the large rock snake was covered in wounds. Liu Xin coldly looked at the hippo in front of him, and the Pokémon attacking him. System. Now I really need something to improve my defense. I must support them until they arrive. With 500 points, you can resist any attack for 3 minutes, and it takes 1 minute to charge to activate. That's it. 3 minutes is enough time to wait for their arrival. Just this 1 minute. In terms of body size, the giant rock snake is definitely the most suitable, and then 3 other types are needed to resist the charge for a minute. Never mind, if you hesitate for a second now, you will be in more danger. Bye. All the hard-earned points were spent in an instant. Ding, the giant rock snake is using absolute defense. The countdown to charges. 60, 59, 58. You only need to hold on for 1 minute and you will be invincible. Why is your big rock snake motionless? Could it be that it was beaten stupidly? The opponent sneered and immediately ordered the hippo beast to attack. The target is clear. It is the motionless big rock snake. Damn it, choose the big ones to fight. Resist me, you must endure it. Quicksand began to fly out of all the holes of the hippo beast and the storm passed by. A terrible pressure swept over him, and Liu Xin was frightened. The yellow sand has invaded the entire area, and the sky and earth in this area have turned sandy yellow. Who can guarantee that he will not be afraid? Although I have seen battles with high-level Pokémon before, I did not face them head-on, so I did not feel much for them. But this attack in front of him was completely different. He walked up to his face. He could feel the friction of the sand on his face, and his breathing was unnatural. Flash Kara directly gave Liu Xin a bone stick, making him suffer and curse. What are you doing? Hit me again. Kara, as our master, you don't give us orders. Are you afraid? Hurry up and give us the order. After being told this, and the soul bone stick was added, he calmed down a lot. He took a deep breath and said, yes, you are not afraid, so what am I afraid of? Isn't it just a level 40 hippo? Come on. Liu Xin, whose mood had changed, was full of confidence. The flames on the little elephant instantly rose, and the Caracalla Bone Club was also dyed with piercing fire, majestic. The sharp-toothed land shark's eyes were solemn, and the dragon claws and purple aurora flashed at the same time. Attack with all your might. The billowing sand and dust are raging, swallowing the sky and blocking the sun, and they will surely swallow everything in sight. The frightened teammates told the Pokémon to return immediately, but Liu Xin and the others couldn't retreat and did their best to protect the big rock snake. Absolute defense must be successfully activated. Fuck me. Flame Jet. Dragon's Claw. The combined attacks were launched directly into the sandstorm with no end in sight. There was a lot of movement, wind, and waves were blowing everywhere, and gravel was flying everywhere. Liu Xin's face was also scratched, and blood was blowing with the wind. But he didn't care at all. His eyes were all on the 3 Pokémon. Boom. A terrifying sound rang out, and 3 figures were knocked back, rolling on the ground for several meters before stopping. Liu Xin did several somersaults before stopping the sandstorm miserable. When the smoke and dust dispersed, 1 person and 3 Pokémon were lying on the ground with wounds all over their bodies, looking miserable. The hippo ignored him and slowly walked towards the big rock snake, intending to attack it. Daichi and Masumi Kola said excitedly, let's go catch these powerful Pokémon. No, don't even think about getting close to the rock snake. Liu Xin stood up. Even though there were many wounds all over his body, he stood up. He stared firmly at the 5 people in front of him with his eyes and spread his hands. He roared angrily, unless I die, you can't even think about harming the big rock snake. Chapter 41. Activate Absolute Defense. The big rock snake needs a beating. Liu Xin's body was covered in wounds, and his sight was almost blocked by blood. He was still able to stand upright, relying completely on his will. We still have the last 30 seconds left, so we must persevere. Karakara, who had fallen behind him, slowly stood up and stood beside Liu Xin holding the bone stick. The sharp-toothed land shark and the little elephant stood aside, their eyes firm and fearless. Sure enough, they are all disobedient and very stubborn guys. Liu Xin just smiled lightly, because he knew his Pokémon very well. Their unbreakable will is their most powerful weapon. Daddy couldn't believe it. You can stand up now. Do you really want to die? Okay, give us those Pokémon, and then you can do whatever you want with the little imp. Core Masumi felt very bad, and Hippomon gave in. There was too much pressure to get out. Liu Xin was able to hold on for so long, not only because of his strong will, but also because of the Pokémon's strength. The owner of the hippopotamus beast said disdainfully, I know. I thought this guy would come with the lighthouse keeper, but I didn't expect him to be so confident. Use your own life to pay. Quicksand hell. The ground beneath Liu Xin began to float and soften, slowly swallowing them like a giant mouth. I couldn't break free. My body kept sinking. The more intense the movement, the faster the sinking speed. 10, 9, and the last 10 seconds. Liu Xin must break free from this quicksand hell. Little elephant, remember the skills used by Flame Horse and Ninetales at that time. Let the whole body burn to break the current situation. As long as the little elephant with the piercing fire uses this trick, the quicksand hell can be broken. Little elephant. He struggled so that his entire body began to burn. The flames continued to rise, and the temperature around him began to rise. How hot? Liu Xin leaned very close and completely endured the heat. Sweat dripped down his face, and he looked uncomfortable. The little elephant's flames weakened a little, as if they were afraid of hurting Liu Xin. Where has the usual cruelty gone? Are you worried about me now? Use all your strength. It doesn't matter how hot it is, as long as you can feel the attack of the charged flame. The little elephant didn't care. The flames surged again, increasing the temperature by 1 degree, and twisting the air. Heat. Unprecedented heat invaded Liu Xin. Boom. The moment Liu Xin was confused and about to faint, terrifying flames roared in all directions, completely enveloping the little elephant and instantly burning the quicksand hell, trapping them. Success. The little elephant did it and burned the quicksand. Liu Xin fell heavily to the ground, but laughed loudly. It's over. It's our victory. 1-0. The energy storage is finished, and the absolute defense is activated. The entire body of the huge rock snake trembled, and a strong pressure rushed towards it. The corner of Dada's mouth twitched and said, "Did something happen to the big rock snake? The surface is almost like metal. It looks hard and indestructible." The hippo beast owner said coldly, "I thought it was the big rock snake. I was asleep, but it turned out to be charge skills." "But do you really think you can withstand my hippo's attack? You're so naive." "Hippo, it's time to get rid of them." Sandstorm. There was another overwhelming avalanche of sand, covering and swallowing everything around it. The sand gathered bit by bit, forming a terrifying attack. In just a few seconds, it headed straight towards the big rock snake. This sandstorm was much stronger than the previous one. It seemed that it was really determined to kill. Liu Xin must die. It shows how resentful the treasure thieves are towards him. But what happened the next second shocked them bite. After the sandstorm, which was as powerful as a natural disaster, hit the big rock snake, it only made a crisp sound, and then completely disappeared. Where have you gone? Did it hit? What happened? Not to mention his opponents, even Liu Xin looked confused. This is not a blocking skill, it is directly destroyed and dissipated. The best defense is to eliminate the opponent's attacks. This method of absolute defense is really strange. The thief is very powerful. It's very powerful. It would be nice if it could be cheaper. The entire body of the big rock snake is covered with this kind of defense, which is completely tailor-made for it. The hippo holder opened his mouth wide. "Impossible. Isn't this guy seriously injured? You can still withstand my hippo's attack. Something's wrong. Something very wrong. Try a close attack." Broken bite. Seeing that his attack was ineffective, Hippoman became angry, and the power of his attack moves increased a bit. His front teeth were shining brightly, making him very intimidating. When running fast, the attack power is definitely not weak. Under normal circumstances, the big rock snake can't withstand the bite. However, with the blessing of absolute defense, the moment the hippo bit him, his eyes widened. "Fake it? I can't even bite." Big rock snake. Provocative, playful. His own Pokémon was never restless. After discovering that his defense was ridiculously high, Rock Snake began to crazily mock the hippo in front of him. Can this be tolerated? The guy who was being tortured to death 1 second, mocks himself the next second. Who can stand it? Bite to pieces. Bite to pieces. Bite to pieces. He used bite crazily, and even bit an area specifically, trying to break through the so-called absolute defense. However, it had no effect and even caused the hippo beast's teeth to loosen. If you continue to bite, you might get your teeth planted here. That's it? That's it? The big rock snake sneered desperately, the corners of its mouth twitching, and its eyes funny. Not to mention what others thought. Liu Xin felt that this guy deserved a beating. Lack of social beatings. What are you still doing? Let's act together. I don't know what happened to this big rock snake, but if you don't do the same, you won't be able to defeat the little devil. Daddy and the others no longer sat idly by, and immediately ordered their Pokémon to continue attacking. However, these attacks hit the big rock snake like a scrape. Big rock snake. I just yawned, not even bothering to look at them. Wood is big, wood is big. Thank you for your hard work, go back and rest. Next up is all the work of the big rock snake. Is 3 minutes enough for rescue to arrive? I really didn't expect that you would be attacked by a group of treasure thieves. It seems that you can't be safe if you can't leave this area. As they were on their way, they felt palpitations upon seeing the sandstorm in the distance. They even thought that Liu Xin had died. It wasn't until the second sandstorm appeared that they were shocked. Surprisingly, he wasn't destroyed in the previous sandstorm. Wait for us, go faster. With the blessing of the fast dragon, you should be faster. The fire horse roared, and the small wings that appeared after the blessing flapped with all their might. Suddenly, flames surrounded and covered it, and the wings that were originally only the size of a palm instantly spread out beside the flames. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Lost in the Mountains. Conflicts arise. The sudden surge of flames shocked everyone. I saw the flames enveloping the small wings, causing the original wings to transform and stretch. It became beautiful and powerful, like the wings of a Pegasus, and extremely beautiful. Itaguro was not too excited and shouted, "Speed up. We have to quickly get to Liu Xin, otherwise he will be in danger." The speed increased to another level, and this rush almost threw Itaguro off his feet. The lighthouse keeper was dumbfounded and said enviously, "What a beautiful winged fire horse. I guess you are the first." And the speed is really outrageous. The journey that originally took 3 or 4 minutes was shortened by half. When they arrived at the place, they were stunned. What happened? Who can come out and explain? Hippomon tried his best to lead a group of Pokémon to attack Big Rock Snake madly, but Big Rock Snake kept mocking him. If the Big Rock Snake could speak, it would probably have become a Zorn player and the entire audience could escape. Is this reasonable? This is not how the script was written. It should be that Liu Xin and his Pokémon are on the verge of death. No matter how bad things are, it is normal to be forced into a desperate situation. Is it reasonable to laugh like this? Is it normal? Moriang ignored so much and shouted, "Liu Xin, our support is here. Are you okay?" Liu Xin's eyes widened. She took a deep breath and said, "You guys came faster than I thought. I've almost exhausted you. Let's do it. Do you hear what you're saying? Is it human?" The lighthouse keepers couldn't help but twitch the corners of their mouths. The difference in combat power between them was not just 1 or 2 points. How did Liu Xin do it? It doesn't matter so much now. Let's first get rid of the group of treasure thieves in front of us. Charizard landed, and the level of suppression instantly scared the hippo beast. It intimidated the rookie Liu Xin at level 40 and the veteran at level 50, so it simply held on to beat it. Things are changing. In less than 3 minutes, all the enemies were wiped out. As for the rocket duo, they ran away early. It's a bit pathetic. I didn't expect there to be such an easy guy to deal with among the treasure thieves. I feel like any wild Pokemon is stronger than your hippo. Actually, you can't blame the hippo for this. The beast is weak. The reason it lost was because a Big Rock Snake took the blame. When using Crush on Liu Xin, its front teeth were directly broken, and it immediately lost most of its combat effectiveness. The owner of the hippo roared angrily, "Liu Xin, wait for us. Our group of treasure thieves will hunt you down endlessly," until Moriang released the giant claw crab and started feeding it to his eyes. Liu Xin's treatment. The healing effect of absorbing the treasure is quite good, and minor injuries on the body are basically healed quickly. As for Liu Xin's Pokémon, they were taken back to the Lighthouse Treatment Center for recovery. They waited until it was completely safe before continuing. This time, there were no surprises. He didn't meet the group of treasure thieves, or the rocket duo. Not to mention, your fire horse is a bit handsome. These wings are not on the same level as mine. Liu Xin looked at his pet egg. Other than that, it grew a pair of wings. The fire horse is very proud now, and shows off its fiery red wings every day. Itohei also did the same. Moriang didn't think so much, and asked in a low voice, "Where are we now?" This was simply a soul searching, so Liu Xin and Itohei took out equipment to explore. However, the signal here is too weak, can't find east, west, north, and south at all, and can't even read the map. Do any of you know how to read a map? No one. They even asked the Pokémon. Good guys, 3 people are lost. 3 days later I got lost on the Misty Mountain Road. Liu Xin and Itaguro are still using various methods to position themselves, while Moriang is training his Pokémon to prepare for the magnificent competition. Okay, go back. I'm afraid that if you continue, you will knock down the entire mountain. Liu Xin put away his Pokémon, which was really a torture. Looking at the bumpy ground in front of him, Liu Xin felt a little embarrassed. After all, it was all his work. 1 2, 1 2, 1 2 3, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2 3. The sound of uniform slogans could be heard, and a group of people were running closer, turning from blurry to clear. People are living people. Liu Xin and Itaguro looked at each other with excitement on their faces. Dressed in uniform sportswear, they stopped in front of the three of them. The leading man frowned. You did this? Itaguro remembered that Liu Xin betrayed him before, and immediately pointed at Liu Xin and said, it's all the holes he made, it's none of my business. If you have any questions or difficulties, come to him. Liu Xin looked puzzled. He was a good teammate and very decisive in his betrayal. The man in the lead confirmed again and again, are you sure it's you? You created so many holes yourself? Liu Xin took a deep breath and said, yes, it's me. This place shouldn't be your territory, right? He shouldn't have done anything wrong. The protagonist immediately said, it's him. Catch him. Take him back for questioning, haha. What's this? Why do you want to arrest me? Itaguro seemed to realize that something was wrong and immediately released his Pokémon. Warning, what do you mean? Although he made the hole, it's not good to arrest people indiscriminately, right? Moriya Suzayang also stepped forward and said angrily, it's just that people who do things without giving a reason are the most annoying. I hope you can speak kindly. Someone on the team also whispered to dissuade, Captain, maybe not. This little brother said, we can. Don't accuse people wrongly, right? You two should calm down. After all, something bad happened in our university. Could it be the Pokémon Academy between Huanan City and Deadly City? These guys are students of the academy. No wonder they exude a noble aura. Ignoring the dissuasion, the protagonist released his Pokémon and said, go and catch that kid. This was the evolution of Trumpet Bud. The head grew bigger and the mouth also grew bigger. The roots have degenerated into brown hooks behind them. There are still 2 leaves left, but they grow on either side of the yellow flower. It has big, round, black eyes and 3 dark yellow spots on its forehead. Dumb mouth. As soon as it came out, it stretched out the vines and grabbed Liu Xin. I wanted to chat nicely with you, but you ignored me time and time again. You really think I'm easy to bully, don't you? Little elephant, go give it some color. Chapter 43 Cooperation, Unknown Creatures. Little elephant. As soon as he came out, flames began to envelop his body, full of fighting spirit. Will the little elephant get angry? They had never heard of it. The picture book didn't say that the little elephant had the fire attribute. The group of people were dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. When did the little elephant get the fire attribute? It's incredible. It looks very powerful, and the flame isn't just one color. In fact, as the strength increases, the mutated little elephant's flame characteristics become more and more obvious. It's not just a deep and pure red, but there's also a golden light flowing within it. When the two are mixed together, it looks extraordinary. Itaguro sneered and said, these guys are different from me. I wasn't that surprised to see a mutated little elephant. I calmly accepted that this was a mutated little elephant. He said, this one. It's nothing to laugh at, right? Then can we have a good chat now? After all, I'm not a demon, so I won't give it to you. Damn it. Can't you wait until I finish speaking before acting? The fireball was thrown out in one gulp, like a horse running off its ropes, and struck Cowdooha menacingly. The mouth is not stupid, and an extremely corrosive poison is sprayed out. The two attacks collided, emitting a sizzling mist in the middle and disappeared together. HMPH, I originally planned to talk to you, but you didn't believe it. You're stupid. Attack with all your might. A yellow powder began to spread from Cowdooha's mouth, and filled the air, drifting with the wind, spreading towards the little elephant. After a while, the little elephant was surrounded by paralyzing powder. Jet flames. A pillar of fire erupted from the little elephant's mouth, burning all the powder in the blink of an eye. It didn't cause any damage. The man leading the team sneered, if that's the case, then you'll be able to kill me. In this case, you are stupid and use poisonous powder. The purple powder began to spread out, surrounding the little elephant. Itaguro whispered, this can't be burned. If the poisonous powder is boiled, it will directly turn into poisonous gas, and we will all be in danger. Do you want to be so cruel? The man leading the team calmly took out a gas mask and asked, are we not prepared? You can burn yourself. We are professionals in antivirus, so we are not afraid at all. Liu Xin said helplessly, use earth thorns to form protection and resist these poisonous gases. It was the same as in special energy areas, forming a protective circle. The poisonous powder fell on the ground thorns and only corroded it a little, but did not break the defense. This is the time to turn in a circle and crash. After blocking the poisonous gas, the earth thorn instantly disappeared. The little elephant immediately shrank into a ball and turned into a small ball. Immediately, flames rose up, and the rolling fireball launched out, heading straight towards the Cowdooher. This speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, the distance between the two was narrowed. No good. The man wanted to give the order, but found that it was already too late. Bang! Cowdooher was knocked back, and fell to the ground, with flames burning all over his body. The piercing fire continued to burn, and Cowdooher struggled painfully for a few moments before losing consciousness. Damn, I didn't expect this little elephant to be so powerful. The man who spoke at the beginning dragged the protagonist over. Captain, they don't seem to be unreasonable people. Let's have a nice chat with them, okay? Shaking off the other party, he picked up his Pokemon ball and said in a cold voice, if it weren't for you, tell me what's going on. Liu Xin took back the Pokemon ball to avoid the mutated little elephant blundering again and said, this is what I said. It's a long story, so I'll just cut it short, starting from getting lost, talking about how their Pokémon found their way in, and then meeting them. After understanding clearly, they realized that it was all a misunderstanding and the trio in front of them wasn't the one they wanted to capture. Seeing their expressions soften, Xiang stepped in. Then why did you arrest Liu Xin in the first place? Is it related to these pits? The man whispered, Captain, there are still differences, if you look carefully. It's in our university. It's a cave, not a pit, so the murderer isn't them. He then apologized to the three people in front of him. I'm really sorry, everyone. We are students of the Pokémon Academy and we were sent to capture the culprit who created the Academy's cave. My name is Takatomi Daishi, you can just call me Daishi. And our captain is Shumura Shinaya, just call him Shinaya, he said sadly, after making sure that they are not the culprits, just keep searching. They turned around and were about to leave, but Liu Xin stopped them. Could you please tell us how to get out of this area and reach Deadleaf City? You didn't care about the Pokémon Academy, you only cared about how to get out. If there was really no one to ask, they really didn't want to ask Shinaya. Daisy was about to speak, but Shinaya stopped him and said, is there a way out? It's not impossible to tell you, so shouldn't you also pay us, the culprit who dug the hole? Do I need to be paid for asking for directions? Is this reasonable? However, the system's voice came from Liu Xin's mind. Ding, the host initiates a task to find out the culprit of digging the hole and resolve this incident. If the mission is successful, you will receive 2 Poke Fruits and 300 points as a reward. 300 point bonus? That high. Is there any reason to refuse? He nodded and said, okay. We will help you resolve this incident. As a reward, you have to get us out of this place and reach Kuai City, okay? She covered her mouth and said, it's true what I said. Backquote, it's hard for a horse to catch up. I'll show you where these caves are first. After following them for a few hundred meters, I saw a dozen or so caves. Itaguro looked at the dark cave and said, feeling, did you walk here step by step from the cave on the other side of the academy? After that, we were lost. We have no idea where the killer is going, so it's very tricky. This is a mountainous area where rocks are piled up. Finding Dadang's Pokemon in this terrain is undoubtedly like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was too difficult, and Liu Xin, as a ground-type trainer, had no other choice. It's fine if he wants to fight, but it's really not fine if he wants to find something. Xiang looked at him carefully for a long time and said, hey, there seems to be a sound coming out of the cave. Although it is very small, it can barely be heard. That must be the clue, and we can't let it pass. Liu Xin immediately released his Big Rock Snake and issued an order. Big Rock Snake, use your Dadang skills to sense the situation in the cave immediately. If there are any other Pokémon, find a way to keep them. With a roar, the huge body sank into the hole. However, after a minute, a violent collision occurred from inside, and Liu Xin shouted, something is attacking my Big Rock Snake. Ding, the unknown creature attacked the Big Rock Snake, and the effect was remarkable. Chapter 44. It's not just a simple ambition. Unknown creature? It doesn't matter what the unknown creature is now. The main thing is that their big rock snake has been severely injured. What kind of existence could severely injure big rock snake in an instant? And it didn't take much time. Liu Xin rushed forward without hesitation. The little elephant was released to act as a light bulb. After all, it was too dark down here to see anything. If the little elephant knew that it's just being released as a light, it would probably go crazy on the spot. The people behind him also immediately followed, and it wasn't as if they hadn't heard the noise. Boom. There was another loud noise and the big rock snake was knocked over. It looked ugly and had many wounds on its body. Only when they gathered the light did they notice the huge thing in front of them. It's actually an excavator? Of course, it's not an ordinary excavator. Instead of one drill bit, this one has 5 drill bits, and its body shape is as big as half a big rock snake. As you can imagine, this excavator is not simple. A voice came from inside. Where did the big rock snake and a group of brats come from? They can't be students from the Pokémon Academy, right? He exclaimed. This sign is a group of treasure thieves. You can see them everywhere in this area. They were there when they attacked the lighthouse. They were there when they were on the road. And now they are there when they digged holes in the ground. But what exactly are they planning to do? Shania said coldly, it turns out that our academy is lacking something, and it's all your fault. Now we have finally caught the real culprits. Let me punish them. The students from the Pokémon Academy still had some strength, and they began to attack fiercely. Most importantly, they also have many accessories that can restrict the movement and attack of the excavator in front of them. Liu Xin's trio also joined the battle. The biggest contribution was Liu Xin's Pokémon, who came to this terrain like a fish in water and completely trapped the opponent. He restricted the opponent's movements and continued to attack with earth thorns. What do you mean? Hit us when we meet. We haven't even started doing bad things yet and you're doing this to us during this period, the excavator driver shouted. Shut up. Itohen's metal monster and Liu Xin's fanged land shark closed in and attacked at the same time. Steel claws. Dragon claw. The excavator sank straight into a few spots and the surrounding ground instantly turned thorny. Caracalla connected with the 2 attacks and dropped a bone club from above. Boom. A loud noise rang out, and small dents appeared on the surface. No matter how hard the projectile is, it still can't withstand the firepower in front of it, bombarding it indiscriminately. You want to leave? Seal them. His feet instantly softened, and sand began to pile up, blocking his path. Unable to move, he could only stand and be beaten. It took half an hour of attack before the excavator was captured, proving how solid their case is. However, the task was not completed, and the system did not issue any message. The members of the treasure stealing group in front of them looked very aggrieved, as if this matter really was not their fault. Shania did not believe these guys and roared, don't pretend to be stupid, who else is there but you? And it's an excavator with 5 drills. It must be you who is causing trouble in our academy. The students said, approving. Unyielding is what they do. The members of the treasure stealing group looked bewildered. What are you talking about? We just brought the excavator here, and furthermore, we only plan to dig this path as a route for our team to escape in the future. I've never been to a Pokémon Academy. It really annoys me that you dare to speak so harshly. Liu Xin was also very surprised. The system wouldn't make any mistakes. If the group of treasure thieves in front of him were really the murderers, then he would have to catch them, clean them up, and complete the mission. Why is there no news or reminders? There are only 2 possibilities. One is that the system is broken, and the other is that the murderer really isn't them. Liu Xin decided to believe the latter, pulling Zenai along and saying, maybe it's not them after all. Look carefully at the drill bit and the holes they dug. Are they very different from the holes in front of you from the excavator? The hole and the hole they came from. It's really different if you look closely, and it's very obvious. The excavator's hole is very large and concentrated, making it extremely spacious. The caves they came from were scattered and small, making it difficult for them to walk around on their own. What's going on? Shania started to feel dizzy. Why did he make so many mistakes in one day? Mercury is retrograde. Today is definitely my Mercury retrograde sun. I mustn't make any hasty judgments in the future. I must be calm and collected. He muttered to himself, trying his best to calm his emotions. Anyone would doubt himself. They first harmed Liu Xin and her team, and then they harmed the treasure stealing team. As he tied up the person in front of him. After all, I will let Miss Junsha handle it. After all, these guys are not good people. Captain, you don't need to worry too much. People make mistakes. Oh no, people make mistakes sometimes. Shania actually accepted it and calmed down. Liu Xin seems to have discovered that Zenia's attributes may be a little arrogant, and his ambition is not as simple as it seems. This does not require him to pay too much attention to it. Suddenly, there was another roar in the cave. Moriang cautiously said, there is something coming from the cave. If I guessed correctly, it should be in the direction of your university, right? The entire cave was shaking, and something was approaching. A screeching sound was heard, and a group of black shadows approached. Fire horse, light up the entire cave with flames. I want to see what it is. The flames rose, and the black shadows in front of him revealed their true form. They are actually pangolins and pangolins. With so many holes in the ground, the scattered excavations can clearly explain it. The real murderer is not the group of treasure thieves, but the group of pangolins in front of him. He and everyone immediately reacted and wanted to chase after him. But Zenia stopped him and said, wait a moment. Everything we do now must be well founded. We can't blindly chase after him. What if we are wrongly accused again? This guy's really scared, and wrongly accuses an innocent person. He feels really sorry about it. Ahem, then we must pay more attention. It's not too late to chase after the pangolins when we are safe, Zenia said clearly, and Zenia didn't intend to chase after the group of pangolins. His fellow Pokémon Academy members looked at each other, and the members of the treasure stealing group looked at him, as if he was a fool. He took a deep breath and calmly said, I just saw that a group of pangolins took away the photo of Shengmei that you treasured, so damn it. Dog thieves, how dare you? How dare you touch the photo of my goddess? He took the lead, wishing he had 2 more legs, and ran to catch up. And as he seemed to have expected it, Liu Xin tentatively asked, are there really any photos in there? He smiled and said, is that important? Chapter 45. Going straight to Huanglang. Everyone gathered around and followed a group of pangolins walking around the cave. The members of the treasure stealing group cried and said, you should leave one person here. We are afraid of the dark. Mom, I will never dig holes in the ground again. Zenia said angrily, it took me a while. It's a lot of effort for me to get the Holy Spirit. How dare you take away the photos of Goddess Nei from me? If I see any harm, I will definitely give you 36 pairs of military fists. I'm not going to dig a hole, it's to see if these 3 guys are willing. Originally, digging holes was all done by the big rock snake, but the big rock snake was injured, so these 3 could only do it. You dug a hole. Itohei sighed, forget it, they only know how to dig holes, but I haven't seen them dig holes in the ground. Caracalla played with his bone stick and tapped the ground from time to time. The sharp-toothed land shark bit his teeth boredly, looking like an uncle. The little elephant puffed up his nose, full of fighting spirit, as if looking for his opponent. But no one is willing to dig a hole, and can only watch the pangolins leave. Do you have any ideas? There is absolutely no way. The 3 of them are all masters, and are not easy to serve pangolin. But everything gets better and everything stems from the last cry of the pangolin. The expressions of the 3 Pokémon suddenly changed, and they suddenly became angry with each other. Dig a hole. The cave in front of them was directly penetrated, and the 3 of them acted at the same time, and the speed was ridiculously fast. What happened? Question mark? Everyone in the audience was stunned, and he asked curiously, when you came out, didn't you seem dizzy? Why are you suddenly full of motivation, as if you wouldn't look back until you hit the wall? Liu Xin said, with a bitter smile, that's not bad. I really have to thank the pangolin. Thank you for the pangolin finally making a sound. He actually dared to mock us, saying that we can't catch them, that he is a loser. He is a piece of trash. As long as it was a mocking and contemptuous tone, his treasure. Mengbeo became angry. I just couldn't help it. So now my mind is full of thoughts of running to catch the pangolin who is so excited and then hitting it. There was no pause, and the speed was so fast that it scared the group of pangolins and made them speed up. Moriangxiang looked excited, and she was very happy about the new and unknown things. Quick, let's quickly follow him, we can't get lost. Liu Xin, speed up, or all your Pokémon will disappear. She took Liu Xin's hand and ran forward. Itaguro looked at the air around him and couldn't help but say, "What's wrong with me? Why didn't he take my hand? Didn't you agree to be each other's wings?" He looked at her carefully. Then he said, "You are really not as handsome as the others," and as he immediately covered Zenia's mouth and said, "No, he doesn't want to say anything. We have to quickly follow him. Why don't you let me say the following? Seek the truth from the facts." Zenia is a little stubborn, but Dazzy knows that this man of steel's words will surely bring nothing good. He took a deep breath and said, "If you slow down Shengna's photo for a second, she will suffer more harm." "Yes, you damn pangolin. Give Shengna back to me." He caught up with him. "So what? Tell me clearly." They directly split into 4 groups to chase. Noisy sounds came from all over the cave, which was very clever. All the pangolins were frightened. Were they still the 3 idiots we just saw? Why do they seem to be even better at digging holes than pangolins? There is light. Are you finally reaching the exit? Boom. It's locked and I'm actually trapped here. Liu Xin and Moriangxiang were stuck at the cave exit and couldn't get out. Pushing hard against the door, it was in vain. This is made of high density metal. It's definitely not the work of Pokémon. It's man-made. It seems like there's a brain behind this pangolin. Liu Xin quickly came to the conclusion, and Moriangxiang shook his head helplessly. Blue Crocodile and the others can't open it, as they seem to absorb Pokémon's attacks. And Kirakara, Little Elephant, and Fangtooth Land Shark followed us and separated from us. Look, those 3 guys actually came out with a pangolin. They're the only ones locked in here now. Miscalculated. He overestimated his speed and couldn't keep up with the 3 guys. Hey, why did you stop here? What's going on with this door? I'll go. It's a bit strong and can't be opened at all. Dazzy walked over to take a look and said with an ugly face, "The material of this door is very special. Ours. There is no chance of opening the door unless an outsider opens it. It seems that the brain behind this is very complicated." Itohei looked at the door and said, "What? Are you afraid? We can attack it together." "That's good. Good idea, I'll go with you." Shania immediately agreed with Itohei's idea, and the 2 of them planned to let all the Pokémon go out to attack. Dazzy and Liu Xin stopped them at the same time and sighed, "Before you do anything, you should think more about the consequences. Look where we are now. We are in a cave. If it has a huge impact, it will easily collapse, and none of us will be able to escape." Moriangxiang looked around and said sadly, "So what should we do now?" "It's not the only one. There is no way to stay here, right? Liu Xin's Bagrock snake can dig holes, and if she wants to open up another path, she has to get out from there. Unfortunately, she is injured. It is not possible to open up another path, and it is not possible to break through from here. There are only 2 paths left. One option is to wait here for the pangolin's next move, but that's not realistic. After all, they already knew that someone was waiting for them here, so they would change the path. The second option is to go back the same way, but the risk is too high. If you encounter a blocked path or an unstable area, it will be very unsafe without a burrowing Pokémon. When they were lost, the system's voice came from Liu Xin's mind. Ding, Super Fanged Land Shark used Dragon Claw to defeat the pangolin, and gained experience points, and gained plus 26 points. Ding, Flash Karakara defeated the pangolin using tapping, and gained experience points, and gained plus 25 points. Jet Flame defeated the pangolin, and gained experience points and plus 26 points. Hope and opportunity came. These 3 guys have never been obedient and calm. Without their own command, they went straight to destroy the opponent's lair. As expected of you. The corners of Liu Xin's mouth rose crazily, and he said confidently, "Wait, this time, you are the one who is. The door will open soon." It wasn't long before the door slowly opened, and screams could be heard from the other side of the door. Chapter 46 Contract Construction. Liu Xin raised the corners of his mouth very confidently, indicating that everyone did not need to worry. The door will definitely open later, it's just a matter of time. Not to mention the people from the Pokémon Academy, even Ataguro and Moriaxiang did not know why Liu Xin said this. Any other trump cards? In fact, the system's voice in Liu Xin's mind was very obvious and kept ringing. Although the pangolins are very strong and there are many of them, the beings they encounter are all militants and no one is safe. The entire group of pangolins was wiped out in one fell swoop, and the mastermind behind the scenes was immediately dealt with. 5 or 6 minutes passed, and the entire cave became extremely quiet. He had no idea what was going on outside. The isolation effect was too good. Zen couldn't stand his temper. Why are you staying here all the time? Are you still waiting for someone to open the door for you? Unless he's a fool, will he open the door for you? If he does, I'll stand on your head and wash your hair on the spot. Wash your hair upside down. Liu Xin calculated the time and said confidently, remember what you said, prepare to stand on your head to wash your hair. Soon after, the door really opened. Everyone was shocked, only Liu Xin took it for granted. All of this was within his expectations. He smiled lightly, practice and think about it carefully. How will you wash your hair while standing upside down? Zenai argued, maybe they drove the wrong car, so how could they let you out? I'll be convinced. However, God always likes to joke with Shania. The person who opened the door was an old man with his hair covering his eyes. He looked quite elegant. It's just that he was a little embarrassed now, and hurriedly said, please come out and help me stop these 3 Pokémon in front of me. They should be your Pokémon, right? The guy who had caught them now begged for mercy. He cried out for help. This actually opened the door for them to get out. Can Liu Xin really predict the future? How accurate? Zenar was convinced. Daisy was a little strange, but he still followed along. Only when he saw the tragic situation in front of him did he realize what these 3 Pokémon had done. Pangolins have average strength and will not be able to compete without training. Thus, all 10 pangolins were knocked to the ground. The militants did not stop and began to demolish the house. Compared to huskies, they can tear down houses very quickly. Half of the 100 square meter wooden house had been destroyed, with thorns everywhere, not to mention the cracks on the floor. The uncle was about to cry, but he wanted to catch them and then kill these 3 Pokémon. But who knew that these 3 guys were not good at causing trouble? They killed groups of pangolins and demolished houses with their bare hands. If this continues, my accumulation of the past few years will be destroyed. Let them quickly stop and stop attacking. I know I was wrong. We'll slowly settle accounts later, but Liu Xin covered her face and said, I don't know if it will succeed or not. After all, these guys are too unruly and disobedient. Karakara, sharp-toothed land shark, little elephant. With a roar, the 3 Pokémon turned their heads when they heard their master's voice, staring at him intently. It seemed like he was telling us what to do. Liu Xin, who was originally full of momentum, suddenly said weakly, you 3 masters, can you stop? Be obedient, okay? Kara, little elephant, fang-toothed land shark. The 3 boys roared at the same time, their meanings surprisingly consistent. Shouldn't they go all out to attack us? It's not enough to defeat the group of pangolins, but also the wooden house in front of us. With such a bellicose attitude, Liu Xin had no choice but to do anything. Strong is strong, but also very disobedient. Liu Xin could only use special means to directly drive them back to the Pokémon balls and prevent them from destroying the wooden house. But at this time, it is difficult to live in the wooden house. The uncle let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the foundation was not damaged, so it's okay. Shania patted the uncle and said, what's going on with the loss of items from our Pokémon Academy in the cave? How do you explain this incident? Don't get excited, don't get excited. First of all, congratulations on passing the exam. But Daisy and the others looked serious and said respectfully, hello, principal. Could it be from the Pokémon Academy? What the hell is going on? The person involved was confused, and Liu Xin and others were even more confused. The uncle coughed lightly and explained, "Actually, this is an extracurricular practical test of the Pokémon Academy, to train your ability to respond to and handle incidents. Otherwise, do you think the heavily guarded Pokémon Academy will be breached? The murderer. Is it your turn to catch him? Then catching the murderer is part of your team assessment. Although you won with the help of them, the principal said so let's pass, right? Did we work so hard on our relationship just for this test?" Zenia didn't care at all, but asked anxiously, "What about the photo of my goddess Shangna? Don't lose it to me, or I will kill you. Even if it's just a test, what? Where are the photos?" I asked the pangolins to carry the trash inside the academy and clean up the environment at the same time. Shania directly shouted, "Dazki, how dare you lie to me? I will definitely make your path unstable today." But there was something strange and confusing about Liu Xin. Logically speaking, a trainer can only carry 6 Pokémon. 1 or 2 more are fine, but the additional ones will need to be sent to the warehouse. But the uncle in front of me has more than 10 or 20 pangolins. Is there a problem with the number? The uncle quickly noticed Liu Xin's doubts and chuckled. "These are not my Pokémon, they are all wild pangolins. So there won't be any quantity restrictions. However, wild Pokémon are basically not obedient, and it is even more difficult to control. What is going on?" The uncle proudly said, "This is a topic of my research, how to get along with wild Pokémon. In fact, we will often deal with wild Pokémon a lot, so the relationship with wild Pokémon is very critical. After several years of arduous research, I finally came up with this contract construction." Contract construction? What is this concept and method? The uncle took out something from his pocket and said calmly, "Next, I will explain to you step by step the so-called contract construction. This is my greatest discovery about the relationship between people and Pokémon. There is no harm in learning." Chapter 47, Successful Contract Construction, Little Kitty Monster. In this way, you won't be limited by quantity, which is definitely a good thing. Everyone around him pricked up their ears, except for Moriang Xiang, a rookie. "These things in my hands are pangolin scales, and this is the key to building a contract, the token. To build a contract, you need tokens to form a bond between Pokémon and humans. This is something ethereal, exist. But what if the bond materializes? What kind of thing is that? No one thinks about it, they just think that the bond is the connection between people and Pokémon. But the uncle didn't think so. He spent many years researching the bond in depth and finally came up with this contract structure. Building the contract requires the use of tokens to form a bond, and this bond connects the trainer and the Pokémon. If a Pokémon is willing to form a bond with you, you must also pay for the other party and complete what the other party needs. This will be considered a success. After the uncle explained the principle, he returned the scales in his hands to the group of pangolins. Although they were a little reluctant to part with them, they left happily in the end. This is the construction of a contract. Once everyone is satisfied, you can return the token and leave. I found you, and wanted you to help me with your trial, and you wanted me to kill some bandits. Our contract construction is based on mutual benefit. You have completed the trial and I have defeated the robbers, so the contract will naturally end. Remember, the contract must be one of mutual trust, otherwise the bond will not be formed at all. You must think that the bond is an ethereal existence, but I can responsibly tell you that Pokémon are far from being as simple as you imagine. The bond is probably a limitation and a real existence for them. Will Pokémon be free? Trainer injured? In fact, humans have not done enough research on Pokémon. Itaguro looked a little strange. Uncle, you have been emphasizing the reality of bonds, so how do we know the bonds? Hearing this, the uncle smiled proudly. Young man, you asked a very good question. You need to trust me at this time. High-tech bond detection glasses. According to reports, as long as you wear these glasses, you will be able to see how strong the bond between the trainer and the Pokémon is. It is the proud creation of the uncle in front of me. After everyone put on the glasses, they began to try. Liu Xin looked at the 4 Pokémon in front of him, and they all had a red thread wrapped around them, but the depth was different. The darkest colors are naturally the flashing Kirakura and the mutated little elephant, followed immediately by the giant rock snake, and the lightest color is the super fang land shark. From this point of view, it is not impossible. After all, we all spend different amounts of time together. Then he looked at the Pokémon around him. If Tokuro and Ankamura's Pokémon had a red line connection with him, but it was very shallow, or even indistinguishable. Not to mention the Pokémon Academy, there is not even the so-called red line of bond. It turns out that this thing actually has some effect. It is not a toy. Shania said it directly. It was too difficult. Daisy quickly understood the principle and resolved, as long as we talk to wild Pokémon, form a bond, and then obtain tokens to cooperate, the contract will be established, right? The uncle excitedly took Daz's hand and said, yes. Yes, I didn't expect my words to be understood so quickly. However, it's hard to understand when talking about so many practical things. How about we practice it? There is a forest behind him, and there are many wild Pokémon in it. A consensus was quickly reached and everyone headed into the forest. Liu Xin began to get excited in his heart. If he could succeed, he wouldn't be limited to ground-type Pokémon. Although it's like a rental, it's better than nothing, right? Not long after, a strange little cat appeared in front of Liu Xin. The little kitten is a small blue beast, with its head and front half of its body in light blue, and the back half of its body and tail in black. Its ears and tail have a yellow 4-pointed star pattern, the end of its neck is black, and its front legs have yellow rings. This is an electric Pokémon. If you try to catch it yourself, you will fail 100% of the time. This is the limitation of the system. He looked kind and friendly, and whispered from a distance, I see that you are covered in wounds. Did something difficult happen? Can you tell me something, and share it with me? The entire body was surrounded by lightning, but it did not relax its vigilance for a few words, and continued to discharge electricity. Liu Xin took a step closer and continued, don't be so afraid. I'm not a bad person. I seem like a good person at first glance, right, ZHI? A bolt of lightning struck Liu Xin directly, and his entire body was electrocuted. It split into pieces, smoked, and turned black. However, apart from slight spasms and paralysis, there wasn't much actual damage. Still approaching step by step, he said with a smile, don't be afraid, we can just chat, right? Seeing that the attacked Liu Xin was still approaching, the little cat monster stopped attacking for a while, but the lightning struck him. The body is still flowing. Although they still can't let their guard down, they are slowly building a bond between them. You can see through the glasses that an extremely subtle red line is building on both of them. The first step was successful. Liu Xin felt a little excited. It seemed that the construction of the contract did not conflict with the rigid requirements of the system. Immediately after, came Liu Xin's sharp tongue and shameless approach. Finally, it took Liu Xin half an hour to obtain the hair of the little kitten monster and complete the construction of the contract. Through the glasses, you can see that a thick red bond line is formed on their bodies. At least, he can command the other party before completing the needs of the little kitten. Electric Pokémon. I can actually use Pokémon with different attributes. I'm so excited. This contract is a miracle. I love you, uncle. The uncle couldn't help but sneeze, feeling a little scared inside. Once the contract is established, you can probably tell what the other party's needs are. It turned out that the little kitten in front of me was beaten black and blue from fighting for its habitat. Its opponent is the Thunderbolt Ball, which also has an electric attribute. They are at level 25, and you are only at level 19. How can you fight with them? So, if you want to defeat the opponent, you must first improve your own strength. The little kitten nodded, indicating that he understood this matter. He formed a contract with Liu Xin just to become stronger. During this period, Liu Xin's request was for the other party to be obedient and follow his orders. Liu Xin thought for a moment and said, let's level up first. Now that we have become stronger, everything is easy to say. Ding, the host activated the mission to help the little cat monster gain its habitat and complete its evolution. If the mission is successful, you will receive an Earth attribute and 100 points as a reward. Chapter 48 The Lucky Cat's Revenge. If you want to evolve, it's very simple. Now that the little kitten is at level 19, it's only one level away from evolving. Next, Liu Xin only needs to train for a while and the first small task will be completed. Now that the contractual relationship has been established, can you level up yourself? I'll beat that guy up and drive him away. Another bolt of lightning flashed past, and it was obvious that the little kitten didn't want to do this. It relies on its own strength to defeat the opponent. Liu Xin waved his hand. I know. You don't have to be so nervous. I'm just joking. There are still plenty of Pokémon out there, so there's no problem in training to level up. Do you want to release your own Pokémon? But once they are released, they will probably wander around and be disobedient. It doesn't matter that much. What matters is that one's own strength becomes stronger. Caracaras, fanged land sharks, large rock snakes, and small elephants were released. As expected, they started causing trouble as soon as they came out. I'm afraid this forest is going to suffer. The little kitten looked at the 4 Pokémon walking away, with longing in its eyes. No, do you? You don't want to imitate the 4 of them, do you? You mustn't. You will suffer a loss if you are so disobedient. I want you to take care of it. After saying the next word, the kitten headed elsewhere to look for Pokémon for a duel. Liu Xin looked at the empty area around him, feeling desolate in his heart. Not to mention his own Pokémon. He can't even control his contracted Pokémon. The only thing left is, Dandon, stay with me. He stroked the pet egg with his wings spread out. Recently, there were some cracks on its surface. The day of hatching was very close, and the wind and waves swept everywhere. There was also a bit of excitement in Liu Xin's eyes. After spending the whole afternoon, the little cat monster finally completed its evolution. The body wrapped in golden light began to change, and its appearance also changed greatly. In just a few seconds, the light dissipated, and Luck Cat stood in front of Liu Xin. The body size has become slightly larger. The head and front half of the body are blue, and the back half of the body is black. It has a lush black mane, 2 yellow circles on each front paw, and a yellow 4-pointed star on its tail. Its eyes were much sharper, a little more ferocious than before. Luck Cat. You don't need to thank me. After my guidance, let alone your evolution, don't you have the skills to beat that bastard? Come on, continue to follow me, and you'll have meat to eat. Xin found that after Luck Cat evolved, the numerical value did not change much, but the characteristics were greatly strengthened. Luck Cat, attack. 180 special attack. 220 trays. Thunder. Every attack will be accompanied by a thunder, and the power of thunder becomes stronger as the number of attacks increases. This tray is quite good for fighting prolonged battles. However, it is still a bit imaginative to want to fight Thunderbolt Ball now. Continue special training, specifically looking for electric Pokémon for special training. Wait, you have to endure these electric shocks. Luck Cat faced a level 23 Zebra. The opponent's special attack was much stronger than Luck Cat's. Lightning kept falling, crazily hitting the lucky cat in front of him. No matter how you dodge, Luck Cat will never be hit. Grit your teeth and endure. Despite being hit several times, he never fell and gave up. His body was already covered in scorched black. Lucky cat. He truly refused to admit defeat and stepped forward with a roar. Electric light. The entire body began to be wrapped in lightning, covering and flowing layer by layer, as if it was covered with a layer of golden armor, and it was extremely powerful. With this blessing, the speed increased by several points, and the distance was instantly shortened. Electric light. Zebra's side was also wrapped in lightning, and both of them used this move at the same time. They collided with each other instantly. The lightning in the center was wild, and the wind and waves made Liu Xin unable to open his eyes. The crackling lightning intertwined, and many lightning bolts struck between them. Boom, boom, boom. A loud bang sounded, and the characteristics of the lucky cat were fully displayed at this moment. The zebra, who was still pressing on the lucky cat, began to feel pain, and howled when it was struck by lightning. Run. Roaring angrily, the electric light all over its body gathered at one point, reaching the peak. It quickly swept past, leaving only a small flash of lightning in the air. Zebra, who had the upper hand, was instantly killed by Luck Cat in a single blow. This prolonged battle ended with Luck Cat's victory. Experience points poured into Luckat's body, and he finally passed level 20 and reached level 21. After a day of work, you have reached level 21. The experience points you need are not small, but fortunately, all the points you get will be counted with me. It seems that the system approves the construction of the contract and does not object. After Liu Xin recovered his Pokémon, he fell asleep. The next day, Liu Xin warned, when you reach level 22, you will be able to challenge Thunderbolt Ball. So, be very energetic and adapt to electric attacks. After shouting, he went to find his opponent to fight. After yesterday's destruction, the experience points and levels of his 4 Pokémon have increased. Evolution is getting closer. A golden light flashed by, and strands of eyes flashed. Level 22. Luckcat has finally reached its goal, so the next step is the ultimate goal, the Thunderbolt Ball. Dianquiu slept peacefully in the territory. Due to his own strength, there were not many challengers. Luckcat, let's fight. Thunderbolt Ball's closed eyes slowly opened, staring fiercely at Luckcat. Although he was a little surprised that the other party had evolved and become stronger, he was still not afraid of him. There was still provocation in his words. Luminous wall. A thin wall blocked the Thunderbolt Ball, and its defense instantly increased a lot. I learned from Luckcat that it was this wall of light that was difficult to deal with. If you make multiple attacks, they will all weaken, which is very uncomfortable. After seeing each other for 3 days, treat each other with admiration. Charge. The patterns on the entire body of the lucky cat began to flash with electric light, layer by layer, and the special attack became stronger. Can it withstand a large number of special attacks? I don't know if it can withstand all of them. After completing the charge, Luckat's body was wrapped in lightning, and it was extremely domineering. Electric shock. A large amount of electric current is released, which stimulates and provokes the lightning ball, allowing the opponent to attack first. Thunderball wanted to start attacking, but was held back. Multiple currents turned into a grid and dragged it, causing a paralyzing effect and preventing it from moving. This is a paralysis effect with probability. Unexpectedly, Luckcat was really lucky. Lighting. After charging the electric light, the lightning that enveloped the body became thicker and more dazzling, and there were many violent thunder and lightning that jumped out and exploded in a small hole in the ground. The terrifying electric light made Liu Xin take a few steps back. The power was too terrifying. The layers of lightning made Luckcat disappear, leaving only a terrifying form of thunder and lightning. Thunderbolt Ball's pupils tightened, and he had a bad feeling in his heart. Go ahead and finish him off in one blow. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Narcissistic Woman Dressed in Black. Luckat's entire body was wrapped in electric current, which was strengthening layer by layer. From a distance, it looked like thunder. The falling thunder was suspended in the void, looming, as if it was about to fall at any time. Thunderbolt Ball's ferocious face was a little more alert, and the wall of light on its body looked very fragile. If you use electric light, I will use electric light too. Thunderbolt Ball's entire body was also wrapped in lightning, but its power was far less terrifying than that of Luckcat. Luckcat. Thunderball. The two of them roared and rushed towards their opponents at the same time. There were sparks and lightning all the way, and 2 large holes were torn open on the ground, which was extremely charred. The shockwave spread wildly, and Liu Xin consciously took a step or 2 back. Seeing them face each other head on, she couldn't help but clench her fists. Come on. The level gap can definitely be overcome by your refusal to admit defeat. The lightning strikes directly, and the lightning that has been condensed for a long time is very lethal. The wall of light on the Thunderbolt Ball only offset a small part of the thunder attack, and was immediately hit hard. The electric shock in front of him was stronger than her, and the thunder falling from the sky should not be underestimated. Uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But what can he do? The lightning ball still has a paralyzing effect on the body at this moment, which directly strengthens the electric attack by a few points. The multiple thunder currents were like thunder snakes writhing and squeezing the lightning ball, and the expression on his face became more and more painful. Luckmayo approached step by step, and the attacks on his body were still strengthened, not giving the opponent any room to breathe. Finally, with the groan of the thunderbolt ball, the battle ended. All the lightning disappeared, and his body fell heavily to the ground unconscious. Upon closer inspection, there were many scars on the body, all of which were struck by lightning. Success. Liu Xin hugged the weak luck cat. I did it. Revenge was a success. You're great. After a few weak responses, the opponent is not a trouble-free type after all, and has considerable strength. Liu Xin gently stroked luck cat, and said with a smile, then have a rest. When you wake up, the contract between us will end. Hearing this sentence, Luck Cat's eyes showed reluctance. The red line of bond between the two have strengthened a lot at this moment. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the task. Obtain an Earth attribute, and 100 points. Earth attribute accessories? Items of the same nature as those looted from the lighthouse at that time. With a light tap on the earth-wrapped weapon, the whole picture slowly appeared before Liu Xin's eyes. Bone neck. The power of the ground-type moves of the Pokémon used is increased by 1.5 times, and the experience gained during normal times is increased by 5%. Can only be used by ground-type Pokémon. It's a very good team specially prepared for your Pokémon. You know, Super Fangy Land Shark's purple aura doesn't even enhance the power of the move that much. It's a pity that the land attribute is limited. Liu Xin didn't hesitate too much, and directly gave it Flash Karakara. The mutated baby elephant and the Super Fang Land Shark have other attributes to maintain, so there is no need to worry too much. So only the giant rock snake and the shiny Karakara were left. In the end, Liu Xin gave it to his old friend. As my first Pokémon, I can't treat it badly. Kara. He was very satisfied with the bone necklace, and planned to use the bone rod to serve Liu Xin. After being rejected, he continued to dive into the forest to fight. Luck Cat has almost recovered, but his strength is exhausted, and there are not many injuries, so he can rest. Okay, the contract between us ends here. You can do whatever you want. In fact, if Liu Xin hadn't been able to conquer Pokémon of different attributes, he would really have wanted to take the lucky cat away from him. It's a pity. Obviously the training is pretty good and the bond is pretty good. Liu Xin said goodbye, and went to watch the Pokémon battle. In the evening, everyone gathered at the uncle's residence. How do you feel after 2 days of building a bond? It should be pretty good, right? Shania and Ash's experience was really good. As for Itaguro and Morianka, they didn't feel much. They conquered the new Pokémon directly. Therefore, the person with the greatest internal gains is Liu Xin. The uncle looked at everyone and chuckled. I will teach you in advance, and these cups will also be handed over to you. They are worthless anyway. Go to bed early tonight. It's time to go back to the academy tomorrow. Early in the morning, Liu Xin and the others followed Zenia. They arrived at the Pokémon Academy. The appearance hasn't changed much from before, but it covers a much larger area and has more students. After graduating from this school, you will have the right to directly participate in the Pokémon League competitions without having to challenge gyms around the world to obtain badges. Liu Xin didn't envy this kind of life. It was more interesting to take risks and train. Zena looked around and said leisurely, a lot of students have gone out to try out recently, so the school is quite empty. It seems like our team is completing the task very quickly. There are dueling fields everywhere, and the more advanced related facilities have it all. Daichi takes them to visit the academy, while Shina hands over an assignment. It's not too far from Dryleaf City. We will take care of everything, and take you away. Are you planning to challenge the gym, and participate in the recently held Pokémon contest? He nodded and said excitedly, yes, I'm going to participate in that competition. I'm very attentive to Pokémon training. We eat and drink together every day, and go to bed when we are tired. What is this? Itohei and Liu Xin looked at each other speechlessly. Only the three of them knew about it. Liu Xin did not participate in their conversation. She wandered around, and got lost without knowing it. I was born with the attribute of being an obstacle. When can I change it? I didn't care. No matter how great the Pokémon Academy is, it has its limits. Go yourself, visit it yourself, maybe the experience will be better. I'm a rose hidden in the abyss. No one sees or appreciates her, but I'm still proud and beautiful. Such a skirt. She is so destructive, she is such a sinful woman. The long-haired woman in a dark black dress looked at the clean window and indulged in her own beauty. Why are there such beautiful girls in the world? If beauty was a sin, she would already be guilty. Liu Xin's ears were filled with such words. This was the first time she had seen such a narcissistic woman. She walked towards the other party, but she was also unconscious. She had no choice but to say, "This beautiful lady, I would like to ask where the bathroom is in this school." Haha. The woman was frightened and distanced herself like a cat with explosive hair, staring fiercely at Liu Xin in front of her. "Have you seen it all?" Liu Xin nodded honestly. "Did you hear it all?" Liu Xin smiled awkwardly, and her meaning was very clear. The extremely narcissistic woman instantly blushed and threw her Pokeball without raising her head. "You have actually seen such an embarrassing side. You must forget it. I must do it. I heard that the memory of people who faint will be completely lost." Then no wonder she is cruel. Mooney V. Knock it out. Chapter 50. Win the showdown. Mooney V's fur color is black, and its red eyes look more ferocious than other types of EV. The ring-shaped patterns on the body are dazzling gold, and after bathing under the moonlight, these patterns will glow slightly. Therefore, this EV is somewhat similar to the woman in front of me, and both of them look beautiful. Liu Xin waved his hand and said, "Who told you about this unreliable method? Don't think that physical elimination is useful. Unless it's salvation, don't even think about erasing the memory. Do we have anything to talk about, like pretending that I didn't see it?" The woman cried. He said, "Don't try to lie to me. If you saw it, knock me out once before you talk." He couldn't. Don't listen. Today's Moon EV follows the woman and acts mercilessly. Impact. Directly using the simplest headbutt attack, Liu Xin began to jump left and right repeatedly. The other party was bent on knocking Liu Xin unconscious and couldn't listen to a word she said. It doesn't matter. If you continue to persuade, you might be knocked unconscious. Solve the problem first. Come out, Caracalla. Liu Xin can't just evade and hide. Liu Xin must fight the opponent head on. Liu Xin released Flash Caracalla and stared at Moon EV, full of fighting spirit. The bone collar he was wearing exuded an earthy yellow glow, making him look very majestic. There was no need for Liu Xin to command. Caracalla rushed over and attacked on his own. The bone club in his hand began to attack. Moon EV has a graceful figure and easily dodges every attack, with a hint of mockery in his eyes. "Dare to play with me?" Caracalla couldn't bear this violent temper. He exhaled and tightly held the bone rod in his hand. He then shouted at Liu Xin, "No, bro, you can't help but make someone angry, so it's not directed at me, right? And I didn't solve the problem by myself, and I convinced you." Liu Xin immediately issued the order, "Ground spike." Without making any movement, Moon EV's feet suddenly exploded, and spikes erupted from the ground. "Ibrahimovic," he exclaimed, completely taken by surprise. Thanks to his timely reaction, he dodges as soon as his feet tremble, avoiding much damage. Even the woman was sweating from it. "EV, use a strange light." The patterns on Moon EV's back flashed, emitting a strange light, and looked extremely chaotic. Not good. Liu Xin sensed that something was wrong, but it was still too late. Caracalla completely sank into the light and fell into chaos. My eyes were blurry, my head was dizzy, and I was spinning around as if I was drunk for a while. It's hard to guard against ghost type attacks. Taking advantage of the victory, Moon Ibrahimovic quickly followed up. There was a flash of lightning. Like thunder, it struck Caracalla with a dazzling brilliance. Boom. It took a solid hit and rolled on the ground several times before stopping. This collision also caused Caracalla to recover. It shook its head and stood up, with an ugly look in its eyes. Cara, hey, don't blame me. I don't want to do this either. How about you close your eyes and attack?" After blaming each other, Caracalla scolded Liu Xin. The woman said weakly, "Are you still fighting?" Fight. Continue now." Liu Xin smiled awkwardly and asked Flash Caracalla to get ready. Cara, Sulking and growling, it grabbed the bone club and roared defiantly. Mooney looks extremely arrogant, and it is obvious that its recent success has given it a sense of superiority. Strange light again. The pattern on the back shines again, emitting a strange light. There is absolutely no way for the second skill used on Caracalla to work. Close your eyes, and don't look at this attack. Bite. Still in a state of chaos, a true mental attack. If you don't look at it, you will fall into the trap. Liu Xin and Flash Caracara were dumbfounded, but they still suffered a loss and were tricked. The woman knew that ordinary attacks couldn't kill Caracara, so she used Mooney V's strongest attack method, malicious pursuit. Suddenly, the black shadow swallowed the Mooney V, as if the black moon had descended, and it was extremely dark. Two red lights flashed in the endless darkness, which were the other party's eyes. Terrifying dark fluctuations condensed, and wave after wave of shocks gathered inside. Liu Xin had a bad feeling and roared, "Wake up quickly, and defend this move no matter what." A huge blow hit Caracalla's heart hard. The confusion and drowsiness instantly dissipated. Liu Xin roared, returning to normal, and immediately took corresponding measures. Boomerang. Pull it back in a semi-arc, and then throw it out forcefully, increasing your strength to the extreme. The terrifying boomerang has terrifying power, piercing the air into formations, and the damage is astonishing. Eevee Luna. The opponent's attacks also surged, and black shock waves surged out one after another, and their momentum was not weak at all. This move multiplied the damage previously caused, so the power released was so terrifying. Boom. The sound continued, and the boomerang collided with the malicious chase, and a powerful impact spread from it. Liu Xin and the woman couldn't help but take a few steps back as the wind and waves blew violently. Liu Xin shouted, "Caracalla, use the earth stake." But Caracalla froze on the spot, with a bit of embarrassment in his eyes. Without the bone stick, it seemed to have lost its soul. It could no longer do anything, and even its momentum was a little weaker. Not to mention the ground spikes, you can't even use them to hit it. Liu Xin finally discovered this problem. Fortunately I discovered it now, not during the gym competition. Believe in yourself, you can do it. The body is yourself, not the bone stick. It is you who launches the attack, not the bone stick. You are Caracalla, not the bone stick. It is still easy to use. Caracalla was indeed stimulated. It began to stomp the ground hard, and sure enough, it began to take effect. Real ground spikes began to rush out, stabbing into the darkness. Be careful, Mooney V. The woman's words showed concern, fearing that her Pokémon would be injured. The accuracy was poor and the hit missed. Pay more attention. Caracalla used all its strength to break through. Bang! The earth spikes on the ground instantly shot out and hit Mooney V. Ibrahimovic. The screams were heard. The malicious pursuit in front of him completely disappeared, and the boomerang quickly rushed over. Two attacks fell on Mooney V at the same time. How could his thin body resist it? He was directly knocked down, rolled on the ground several times, and fainted. Obviously, the terrifying damage caused by this earth spike is due to the enhanced power of the bone collar. Ibrahimovic, are you okay? The woman quickly walked over and picked Ibrahimovic up, her eyes full of worry. Liu Xin put away the Caracara, walked up to the woman, and said in a low voice, "I don't mean any harm, I just want to ask where the bathroom is. Also, I'm a little bit now." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.